Call the meeting to order and ask Marla to call the roll of the special budget meeting of the Hall County Board of Commissioners.
Karen Brethauer. Here. Butch Hurst.
Yes.
Pam Lancaster.
Present.
Gary Kwan.
Here.
Ron Peterson.
Yes.
Jane Richardson. Here. And Scott Sorensen.
Here.
Notice of the open meeting law. This is a public meeting subject to the open meeting laws of the state of Nebraska. The requirements for an open meeting are posted on the door to my left, and notices are on the front table for your information. Request to reserve time. If anyone in the audience has a request to reserve time to speak on a specific agenda item, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, we have verified the affidavit of publication. As far as public participation, commissioners will not be able to take action on non-agenda items. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to address the Board of Commissioners under public participation, please come forward. Seeing none, we will move on to the agenda, starting with the review of the previous meeting.
So in your packet for today, you have your notes for today's department meetings. You should have the order of basically events that we're gonna go through everyone, and then behind that you should have a 2026-2027 total budget changes. So we'll go over that. Changes to revenue so far, none. Okay, cuts by officials. So this was the typo that I alluded to on Tuesday morning. So we did get that fixed. There was a couple typos that basically come out to $427,500, which like I said was something off by a decimal point. So added quite a bit to that. So that we have made that adjustment. Cuts by board. The board asked the sheriff to make a $16,200 cut for health insurance, and then justice we put back to last year's budget, so a cut of $112,000 for total cuts by board of $128,200. Cuts by additions by officials. GIS had an addition when they came in for $7,032.10, and then regional planning also had a small adjustment of $2,204 for total additions by officials of $9,236.10. Overall cuts are $546,463.90. So tentatively, we had put in the 850, which would get you below the allowable growth. We talked a lot on Tuesday about how the calculations would be working against each other, and how we'll go over that basically when we're done with everything. And I would assume probably even again in August, once we get final evaluation, see where everything lies. You have the same expenditure pages that you had the other day, but they're still available to you. And then Kim is going to pull up really quick here an updated levy sheet. It's not in your binder, but she's going to just pull it up on the screen. So, just so everyone can see, based on the cuts that are on the sheet that we just went over, the levy is much closer to what it was previously. So the tax asking is down to the $26,176,543.52. We've kept what we believe is conservative valuation and growth numbers in there. No changes to the other entity numbers. We also have not changed anything with the bond at this point, and so the total levy is down much closer to where it was last year, $400.03 per $100,000 evaluation last year to currently $406.13 this year. And again, I would expect that's probably, if we could snap our fingers and get the actual valuations today, I think that'd be even lower, because I think we're conservative on valuation. But I know that first day might have been a little higher than people expected, so I just wanted to show kind of an update of where that is, even with our conservative valuation numbers.
Any questions for Kayla? Yeah.
Kayla, I guess, and Kim, if you guys don't mind making a note, the emergency management budget for 911, from my notes, I think there's $110,000 if not $112,000 in there for that Motorola contract that if we need to look for another 110,
that we could delay a year.
Easy. And then just from my notes, there'd be an additional $53,000 in the casino fund if we wanted to actually do what we've been doing the last couple of years and instead of rounding it to 1.5 million, there'd be another 53,000 there for tax relief from the casino fund.
Yep, I'll definitely add that to my list on my computer of things. I know there's been some other requests
We
to
didn't-
circle
we
back
didn't
to
move
things,
on
so.
anything, it's just,
Yep.
those are a couple things I had for another $163,000, so.
Yep, nope, I'll add those to my circle back list.
Okay.
Anything else? Otherwise, I know that our first people are already here, so if they want to get started, I'll probably let them.
Okay.
Okay.
Marty?
I'm not quite ready.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
One thing I did talk to the sheriff yesterday, he does have, whether we would want to move 3 vehicles from the sheriff's department over to Christie's office. He has a Crown Vic and he also has a Ford Taurus. But we will need whatever trade-in value was on those cars. I believe the one, he's gonna get them to Mr. Dugan. The expensive one would be the Expedition or whatever they drive, the big vehicles. I think it was around 8,000 and whatever the Crown Vic and whatever, but he needs that to put the stripes and the light bars and everything else in the new vehicles. So he is short on that,
We'd have to increase his budget by
whatever.
12, 15,000, depending on what those costs would be that weren't tested.
Well, the other option would be, as kind of was suggested yesterday, that we just make those dollars available, and if he doesn't need them all, he doesn't need them all. So we can just make those dollars, like I said, available in a line item and not necessarily move it over to his budget.
Yep.
Kayla, is there any of those items that were at the end of the sheet yesterday that we could cover while we're waiting for Marty?
Okay, let me open yesterday's list.
I had asked, by the way, at some point in today's meeting that we go back and look at building and land. We had decided yesterday, I think we were concentrating on tax asking, and so we weren't as concerned about that. I talked to Dune, and I think that it would behoove us as a board to go over that and ensure that we agree with the dollars.
Any opposition to just doing that one right now?
No,
Okay.
that's,
Kim, can you give them the page number? I did not bring that binder. So I'll be doing it on my computer, but I don't think I have the page numbers on that packet.
I can do it to you. Yesterday.
Looks like 60 / 59. Might even start on 58. 58, please, for day one. 58 on day one, I believe.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I guess let's just, go through line by line, based off what I'm hearing.
I think we talked about the carpeting 2 days ago, talked about the plaza. We had started going line by line, but we ended up not.
Right.
I think I stepped out of the room for the beginning of that. Do you know how far down you guys got?
We did not get very far. We're probably down to the park sewer pump.
Okay. So, and because I think the next 3 lines there, park sewer pump, roof repairs, and roof repair highway department. I mean, I believe those have been steady lines for a few years. I think those are just there for, repairs. I don't want to say emergencies, but kind of.
Yeah, there's nothing budgeted for those lines.
There is 15, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
5-02, 12, and 213 and 214.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Nope, I was in the wrong one.
So those I think have just been, steady, and they're just there for in case, and they're being used a little bit when as needed, and hopefully that's all they ever get used, to be fair. Highway department projects, there's 50,000 there. I'm guessing that they'll talk about that when they come in, because I see that has been adjusted down quite a bit.
I'm guessing that probably is.
From last year.
Just short of an earmark for things that come up as you don't know. And we'll know more when they come in, like you said.
Right. Next line item is county attorney building repairs for 40,000. Looks like there was a little bit of expense there last year, but
Yeah, I think we've got some things going on over there, so, yeah.
looks like, I mean, is the HVAC at the county attorney done? I just see that very little was spent compared to what was budgeted the year before.
I think we're gonna do in-house on that, remember?
Okay, they can handle that here? Okay, so if everyone's comfortable with that one going away. Boiler chiller repairs, just a little increase there, just, I mean, the actual costs have exceeded the budget the last
There's
couple
nothing in
years,
the
so
HVAC line item.
I think that increase is probably appropriate. Sidewalk replacement at $30,000, I don't know if there's any known projects coming up, but
No, it's some of it is part of the courthouse project too.
would you imagine that some of that would get put in that budget though, Ron, or do you think it would hit this? I'm not gonna propose cutting, $30,000 probably, but.
I know that there's some concrete work being done on the annex building because of the construction project, so.
But we still have
Yeah,
other areas
right,
where
right.
Where you could do work
Yeah.
if.
this isn't specific to.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it costs that much, but I know the weed department has been looking at redoing their sidewalk up front. It's all busted up and trip hazard wise, but I don't know if that's included in there or not.
Looks like a window replacement got done, security cameras, I think I know has been in the budget for at least a few years, but I think that's
I think we're
probably
constantly
just,
replacing.
yeah,
the-
just as needed.
Yeah.
Should I'm just thinking out loud, I mean, would those normally be in this budget versus like Doug's budget? I mean, obviously they are spending some out of here because there was some spent last year, but, yes, I guess I just thought those would probably have to be hooked up to like the security system and that they might be IT, and I'm sure it would just get moved and we would have to change that budget, so it's not like we wouldn't get rid of it, we would move it, but.
I'm wondering if some of these being potentially new cameras, I feel as if we add cameras in addition to replacing them. I don't know with them being added, if this is the right spot for new ones versus repairs, but.
The only thing I would think is these, like I said, are inheritance dollars rather than budget
Right.
dollars. If we put them in Doug's, they'll end up being
Then
budget,
it's- yeah.
property tax dollars. So for my part, I'd leave them.
I don't feel like either way is really wrong either, just,
Would it be all right if we
No.
paused this and we got all Marty's people
Yeah,
here now?
yeah. Why don't we just stop
that's fine.
at the
Yeah.
end of that first page, okay? Okay, Marty?
Morning, everyone.
Bunny, get up here, come on. We will do some musical chairs here in just a minute, but I'm going to plug my computer in. I think the same as you've got in yours. I'll pull it up just so I can reference it since it's in front of me. Okay, with respect to our budget, our operating budget, everything but wages has stayed the same or gone down. We haven't increased anything. I haven't increased anything in years, I do not believe. We have proposed the budget we sent to you, we took to the classification committee. And the classification committee wanted us to reconsider a couple of things and bring back some more information. When I rescheduled with the reclassification committee, they thought it best just to make the presentation here with the information, so that's what we've done. We are proposing in essence, a 12% increase to our support staff members across all three offices, the criminal office, the child support office, and the juvenile diversion office. I am fully supportive of this. There are a number of reasons. They were explained at least in part to the classification committee, but I'm going to have my folks speak for themselves here today because they have been the ones who put in the work to take in their own time to look at this comparison. A comparison that you're going to get today, I think, was lacking the last one, and I was based on my suggestion not to compare specifically offices to offices. In other words, the public defender's office. And what I'll tell you, you're going to see is this board has allowed the public defender's office support staff to match us when we have significantly more years of experience. And I think we need to correct that. So when I come across, I'm looking at our people. 26 years, Bunny. I'm going to go to the criminal office because that's what I have in front of me. 26 years, Bunny. Amber, 13 years. Allison, 11 years. Brandy, 11 years. Stacy, 8 years. Ariel, 6 years. And then we have Aura for 3 years, although she's been with Hall County for, I lost the number. Julie's been with Hall County for 27 years, but with us for 2. So incredible experience. And Candy is probably our newest employee at 2 years already. And that compares with less than a year, 2 years is comparable and making a little bit more money than a person we have in our position, in the same position, the discovery position that's been there for 6 years. And then a year and a half and a year and 3/4, basically. And then the office manager at the public defender's office has been there since 2021, although that's not an accurate statement because that person was there for a little while, left the office, and then came back and was promoted to the office manager position and makes in the realm of what Bunny's made here after 26 years. So we have Robin right back here who's been with the county for 39 years, doing a good job. My point is, the board has allowed similar positions to be paid similarly with vastly different amounts of experience. And we are efficient in my office. We talked before about the fact that we have given one position back, and credit to the classification committee that has said, well, Marty, didn't you say you might be able to give a position back if we got you that software? Fair. We did give that position back, though. And that was a decision that was made by us collectively. I didn't make that decision on my own. And we implemented it, and it was rough for a while in our office. It was rough, but we got through it, and we became more efficient. And we did some things, some reorganization based on my support staff, their collective knowledge, knowing how the office works, knowing now how this new software works, and their collective efficiencies because of their years of experience. I have given back, well, it was kind of wrestled for me last year at budget time, a second position. So that second position, that will tell you what that budgetary impact is. I'm asking that you commit to our people who have committed to this county, and I'll let them explain why. So with that, we're going to step aside for a minute. We'll come back and answer any questions the board may have after this, but I hope you'll hear these folks well.
Okay, I have just a little bit of reading material for everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this the packet you handed out at the?
It's a little bit different.
Okay, all right.
Okay. My name is Brandy St. John, and I'm one of the paralegals at Hall County. We're here today to respectfully request a review of our current pay ranges and titles. We would like to take an opportunity to tell you a little bit about our office and our duties.
Good morning. My name is Amber Siegel. I'm also another paralegal at our office. Over the past several years, our legal staff has successfully modernized the office operations through the implementation of paperless filings, building up our new software, Carpel, and significant workflow to restructuring our stations. These changes required extensive time, training, adaptability, and commitment from our team beyond our normal day-to-day responsibilities. The result has been a substantial increase in the efficiency and productivity. And through these modernization efforts, the legal staff has been able to absorb growing responsibilities while eliminating 2 full-time positions, creating ongoing cost savings for both the county and, most importantly, the taxpayers.
In your packets, you'll see one of the things the classification committee wanted to see was other county comparisons. That is included. The last time that the state reported caseloads was 2018. So unfortunately, that is what the caseloads are. So if you go to the Hall County page, in 2018, we filed about 4,900 cases. There's also comparable positions in other counties under their caseload. I've also included, we do have 155 years of combined experience between our office, our criminal office and juvenile services. There is a list of things that we do. I just want it to be known that when you look at a station, they are preparing 3,000 to 4,000 new cases a year. So that means Discovery is going through 3,000 to 4,000 reports, sometimes 2,000, 3,000 pages long, redacting them. She sends them through the portal to the public defense. They download it. Receptionist, she takes all the calls, walk-ins, she processes all the mail. Our traffic department also, in addition, processes about 3,000 to 4,000 traffic citations a year. The paralegals kind of take care of the catch-all. I looked at my caseload this morning. I have 835 cases in my caseload that I'm supporting my attorneys for. We also do the coroner and death backup, the banking, the claims. We do that as paralegals. Amber and I were involved with a pretty serious case where a child passed away. We were able to go to closing arguments and sit in front of the victim's family. And this is how much we care about our cases. We heard this little baby cooing behind us. The baby cooing behind us is the sibling of the child that died in our case. We love our jobs. We love justice. We love what we do. We would just like to be potentially compensated for that. I did include a budget impact to our office. And when I did, and this is just the criminal office, what page is that? I'm so sorry. So I added 12% to all of our current wages, times that by 1950 hours for 1 year. The budget impact of this 12% raise would be $54,312.21 for 1 year to pay us the additional 12 in our criminal office. A single secretary working for the county costs the county $62,000. A secretary that has a family insurance costs the county $80,000 per year. So we're asking for a little bit less than what a single secretary would cost, and with Marty saying that we've given positions back, we think that's a pretty good number to reinvest in our people. The institutional knowledge that we have in our building should mean a lot to the taxpayers because we're efficient, we're aggressive when we need to be with crime, and then we also have kindness and compassion for these families that we deal with.
I do have one question regarding the number that you're using. Does that include the cost of Social Security and retirement contribution?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, child support? Do you want to speak?
No, if they've got
You've
this.
submitted,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't want.
Do you want to switch?
Sure.
Or do you want to speak on criminal so you can go?
Nope.
Okay, all right.
I am Amy Consbrook, and I am at the Child Support Office. I am currently considered a caseworker 2 there. Over at the Child Support Office, our position has evolved from primarily a caseworker to functioning more like a legal secretary or paralegal. Instead of spending most of our time providing direct services, we now spend most of our time preparing legal paperwork, managing court deadlines, ensuring compliance with legal requirements, and supporting legal processes. The work has become increasingly administrative and legally intensive. Our responsibilities have grown significantly over time. The workload itself has steadily increased, requiring us to manage some more time-consuming cases on the legal side, complete additional legal and administrative duties, and respond to the growing needs of individuals and departments that we serve. Despite these increasing demands, we have remained committed to providing accurate, timely, and professional service. We take pride in our work and strive to perform at a high level every day. We understand the importance of our role in supporting the legal process, assisting clients, and ensuring that county operations run efficiently. We have consistently met the expectations of our position while adapting to new responsibilities and maintaining the quality of our work. The Child Support Office provides reimbursement covering 2/3 of the approved budget. The Child Support Office has consistently generated significant amounts in revenue and funding annually while maintaining organizational standards, productivity expectations, and service delivery goals. We recognize that every budget decision requires careful consideration and that there are many competing priorities. Our request is not simply about compensation, but about recognizing the value of experienced employees who continue to take on greater responsibilities while maintaining strong performance. In our office over at the Child Support, we only have 7 employees, not including the attorney, and in those 7 employees, we have 85 years of service. Sherry's been there for 32 years. Lisa, the receptionist, has been there for 24. I've been there for 12. Jen 6, Nicole 5, Daisy 4, and then our newest, Cassie's, been there for already 2 years. Investing in employees who are dedicated to public service helps retain knowledgeable staff, reducing turnover, and ultimately benefits the citizens of our county. We in our office are proud to serve this county and remain committed to do work we do every day. We respectfully ask that you consider our request for a salary increase as you finalize the budget. So, I don't know if you want to speak.
The attorneys are up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Maybe to the gal that put the packet together, I was just going through the counties, and is there any place on here that gives like years of service, or is this just I don't see years of service comparison, which would be nice. I don't know if this is.
You mean the county comparisons?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
they're not specific to the employees. That's just what the state puts out.
So that's like their median?
I would say it's starting and ending on some of them. It just depends how they
Okay.
report it.
Okay,
On some of the counties, I actually have their actual pay
Okay.
for the individuals. It doesn't show their length
Years
of
of
service, no.
okay. Maybe they can't show that or something,
Yeah.
I don't know. But- Okay, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I was reading it correctly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have that? Do you have that?
Our attorneys are going to speak now.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Garrett Schroeder. I'm the attorney in charge of child support for Hall County. As Amy pointed out, I have 7 employees that I directly supervise. I'm going to be fairly brief with this. I do think a pay increase is appropriate, and I'll be fully honest up front, it's completely selfish for me, because my concern is I have 7 people with 85 years of experience, and there's a chance I could walk out the door for a job with more money and less stress. I say that because, as Amy pointed out, there's an average of 470 cases for each caseworker, and with the people that they have to put up with, it's not everybody, it's actually, a fraction. Let's say 1 in 10 are problem people, and those problem people call at least once a week, and they are not polite, they're not nice, and the caseworkers have to put up with quite a bit of nonsense. I think you can kind of guess where that is going with people get very emotional about their income and with child support. And the caseworkers do a fantastic job of managing the caseload, making sure money is coming in. The other thing I would point out, on the sheet that Amy gave you, there are 6 performance incentives. It's about the middle of the page. Support, establishment, paternity establishment, current support, arrear support, and then med support established and med support enforcement. On those goals, oh, I apologize. I'll read it out then. I guess it was not provided to you. So there are 6 performance incentives that we are supposed to meet for reimbursement purposes. The first one is support establishment.
It's
And-
in the sheet, I think if you go clear to the back of the page, it's about the second to the last, well, it's 4 pages in.
Okay,
For
so
the
you
people
do,
that are looking at the,
okay, so you do have that information?
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So in looking at that, I would highlight support establishment and paternity establishment. These are 2 things we actually have control over. That is cases that we can get filed and get to court. And in those 2 areas, we're at 95% with a goal of 90, 96% with a goal of 90. So we're exceeding expectations in, frankly, the areas we have control over. The current support collections and arrear support collections, we are at average or above average with other counties, but we're below the goal. So the current support collection of 58 and 64 with the both goals of 80, that is, can we get money from the people who are ordered to pay, which in some cases is getting blood from a stone. So I want to point out that if what's called a non-custodial parent, NCP, dies, their arrears stay. That goes against our average. If an NCP is in prison and cannot pay, that still stays as an average. So in looking at it, the reason that our county and other counties are well below the goal of 80% typically is because that's something that's outside of our control. The last 2 areas, med support, established, 50% with a goal of 80. That gets a little bit complicated. In some cases, just you don't establish medical support because they don't make enough money, but that still goes against our average. Then we are meeting the goal of actual enforcement, which is good, 80 of 80. So I want to emphasize this again. We're doing what we can with what we have, and the caseworkers keep the child support office a well-oiled machine. I'm not too proud to admit that it's a well-oiled machine because of them. They take the brunt of the calls, they take the brunt of the issues. I get involved if there's an attorney, if a person is getting too boisterous for their own good, and I get involved with the research, etc. But the caseworkers are the ones that are actually making sure children are getting the support. And again, 85 years of experience, that's irreplaceable. My concern is if there isn't some type of increase, I'm going to start losing people. So I would ask that a pay increase occur. I think it's appropriate, and I'd leave it at that.
Meeting and exceeding those numbers is a direct reimbursement to the Hall County from the state of Nebraska. If we don't meet those numbers or exceed those numbers, when we fall so far behind our collaborative or our group of counties, we are said that we are at or above all of our other counties, even on the performance issues where we're not hitting 80%, we're not lagging behind other counties. That directly relates to what reimbursement the state gives us. So we are maximizing reimbursement in large part because of these child support caseworkers.
Any questions for me before I turn it over to Mr. Works?
Okay.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Morning. Thank you for having me. My name is Matt Works. I'm the Criminal Division Chief at the Hall County Attorney's Office. I've been there for 6 years. I have been with this county for over 16, and in fact my total years are 18 plus, including a brief period of time that I wasn't here. So unlike a lot of attorneys that you've met, I really don't like the sound of my own voice. I'm not a big fan of getting up and doing public speaking. This isn't something I'm really comfortable with, and I wasn't asked to do this today. I came here of my own volition because I think it's important. And I'm not going to talk to you about the numbers. You've got the numbers. That's not why I'm here. What I want to talk to you about is my own experience. having worked for Hall County for these last 16 years. I started my career here at the Public Defender's Office, was there for 10 years in a row, 12 years total, and then I switched over to the County Attorney's Office and have been there for over 6 years now. My experience is this. For 10 years at the Public Defender's Office, I did my job and I did it well. And I did it on my own. That was my experience, was that I came to work, I did my work, and I went home. When I got to the County Attorney's Office, the expectations, the requirements of that job were significantly higher than anything I had experienced at the Public Defender's Office. And frankly, I think it would have been untenable for me to continue in the path that I had set up for myself those last 10 years. But it wasn't required. I got there and had support from these ladies that I had never had before. They were on top of things that I didn't even know I didn't know. Their level of legal expertise in the areas that they know far exceeds mine. They make me a better lawyer. And as such, I'm a better lawyer for this county. And since I have been at the County Attorney's Office, there has been a lot of change in the employment there. There have been a lot of people who have left. Every single one of them have been attorneys. We have lost attorneys frequently since I've been there. A lot of turnover. There have been some that have stayed, but for the most part, it's a whole new crop since I've been there in the last 6 years. I'm here to tell you that that was an easier transition for us as attorneys than it would have been to lose any one of the people that is sitting behind me today. They are so good at what they do. They are so proficient, and they are on top of things unlike anybody I've ever worked with in the previous jobs. And I recognize what Garrett said, which was, this is something that it's selfish for him. And it's 100% true for me. I'm sitting here because the idea of losing any one of them is horrifying to me. And they're not sitting here threatening that, because I don't know that they would leave if you say no to them. I don't think they would, because everything I have seen out of them has been a dedication to the goals and the aspirations that we have at that office, which is justice for the people that we serve, the citizens of Hall County. And that has been my goal and our office's goal since I've been there, obviously, and they are so instrumental in making that happen. The risk of losing them is significant. The idea that there would be something better for them, and I guarantee it would be easier. This job is not easy. The requirements we put on them in short periods of time. We switched over from a paper to a non-paper system, but that was partly because the courts required it. And the expectation and the expediency with which they have to do their work now because of that is so much greater. A lot of what we were able to do just in court by ourselves without any of our staff supporting us when I first got here. Any changes to complaints, any changes to the charging right there, we could just do it right there in the courtroom, and that's not the case anymore. Anything that we need to do to make a change has to go through them. And the expectation is that I can get on my computer, communicate with them, and in 3 to 5 minutes it'll be done and filed with the court. And I have yet to see them fail to meet that expectation. My point in all of this is I'm important. I know I am. My job is important. What I do is important to the people of Hall County. It's important to this board. It's important to our safety of our community. And I couldn't do it without the people behind me. Not effectively. I have done many, many jury trials, and I will say to you that the ones that I have done and been successful at, if you were to ask me sincerely what percentage of that is down to the people sitting behind me, I'd say 50%. That's not an exaggeration. I can't do my job without them, and they are fantastic at what they do. They are unlike anything. This office, I'm going to say something I shouldn't. We brought somebody over from the public defender's office 2 years ago, and I wasn't certain if that was a great idea, having worked with her there, having worked with her now in the county attorney's office. And I can't tell you anything but that it's been a resounding success. And the success is because the expectation for excellence is so great with this office. And the expectation for perfection from our staff is such that you can't help but slide into these roles and want to meet that expectation. And so she's been fantastic. And every single person that I have worked with at this office, and I've worked with all of them at this point, have been excellent. And so I am here on my own without being asked to be here, because I believe that if there is something that is in your power to make this job more attractive to them, to make them stay, please do it, because it is important to my office, it's important to me personally, and frankly, it's important, I believe, to the citizens of this county for whom we all serve. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
You know, part of the difficulty of any of these salary discussions is that we have to balance what we do for all of our employees in the county, plus we have to answer to the taxpayer, and those things are all a balancing act in terms of, it would be nice that we could give everybody a nice increase across the county. And, you know, every situation is a little bit different in circumstances. We also have to make sure that classification of jobs based on comparisons are accurate. I would tell you this, that our intention as a board is that we are going to do a salary study, comprehensive salary study that we haven't done since 2015 this next year, and we're in the process of trying to set that up, because we do feel like we need to do that for all of our support staff across the county. And that is something that we are working on. But you know, I do have a couple questions. I'm not sure they're directed at you more than at Marty or somebody else.
Sure.
But
and as far as numbers go, he's going to be the guy. Let me just, in response to that, let me say I don't envy your jobs. I suspect that this is a very thankless responsibility that you find yourselves in, and I recognize that. I do recognize that it's important to have the studies in place and to look at these and know the information as well as you can. I was part of a study myself years ago when I was at the public defender's office, where we were asking for a significant pay rate, and I know the study came back at a much higher rate than we were asking for. And that's the risk I think we all run in these things, is that we can find out things we don't want the answers to.
Yeah.
And so absolutely, that you can run afoul of that, and I recognize that. I just know that because of their expertise, losing one of them isn't the same as replacing them with two other people. It's, you know, whatever their salary is, you're not going to be able to replace it by bringing new people in and get the same quality of work that we get and we provide to our clients and our constituents of this county. So.
okay, all right.
But if you have specific questions about numbers, yeah, that's the man. But otherwise, I'd be happy to answer anything else.
I just have a comment.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you, and thank you for the information that has been provided. I think that it's great information. I want you all to know I love my job too. So, there you have it.
as thankless as it may be sometimes. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Marty and maybe Bunny would come back. One of the areas that I think warrants discussion is in terms of what are the requirements and qualifications to take these positions in terms of education, training, and how does that compare to, you know, other positions in the county? Because I think that's part of how salaries can be set is when you're hiring somebody, what do you require in terms of their experience, education, that kind of thing in these jobs?
Years past, as far as the legal staff side of things, it was at least 3 to 5 years of experience. And of course, a high school diploma, and if they had some college experience, you know, that was great, but it was really hard to find somebody with both. And then it got to the point where it was really hard to find somebody with 3 to 5 years experience.
When you say experience, do you mean experience in the legal profession?
In the
Okay,
legal
okay.
profession, secretarial profession,
Okay.
that sort of thing. And over the last 5 years, could even be 5 to 7 years, we've had to actually knock down the experience to 1 to 2 years. I mean, it is just a tough pool out there to get people to do what these gals do. I mean, you can't come in and not know of anything in the legal field, not know of the process of juvenile court, adult court, the system as a whole, and try to teach somebody from the beginning. It is a work in progress with the knowledge that you come in with to begin with. So knowing that these folks came in with the knowledge and have constantly gained the knowledge, I mean, it's a present every day. I mean, it's not just Christmas in July and Christmas in December. It's all year long because they're so fantastic with the knowledge that they have. I mean, if we had to put publication out there today, Ron, we're lucky to get 5 to 10 applicants, and out of them, they've worked at McDonald's, the end. They've cleaned homes, the end. We don't get solid applicants. So to see somebody leave based on this, that, or the other thing and try to replace them, Marty's probably going to be sitting here and saying, hey, I need one of those positions back because now we're not efficient anymore. Hey, I need that second position back. And that's what Marty and I have talked about, and we're concerned we may wind up there. And we also know, through years of experience, when you give back a position, it's tough to get it back.
Sure. Does anybody else have any questions? I think one of the things, I'll be honest with you, there's some additional information here that wasn't presented at the classification committee that I would like to have some time to look at.
I can certainly come back if you want to digest this.
Yeah, I think
We'll
it's,
make that
I
work.
think it would be important for us to have a board-wise discussion in terms of what some of our impressions and concerns are.
Well, let me make this crystal clear. The years of experience are unmatched with respect to the other side of this. Compared apples to apples, legal secretaries to legal secretaries. And by the way, we're proposing getting rid of legal secretary. That's just not an accurate description of what my folks do. Legal assistant, we're in this, we'll eventually get back to the classification committee no matter what happens, and we're going to change our titles to legal assistants because they're not secretaries.
How does that, I mean, it's not totally clear to me how you differentiate between that and a paralegal. What's the job responsibilities and?
Level of responsibility would be the difference between paralegal and legal assistant. So legal assistant helps, what I would tell you is a legal assistant would be your entry-level person who has a few years of, if we can get somebody, with a few years of general legal experience doing some of the more basic tasks in our office. As they are learning the office, as they're learning our computer program, the court's computer program, the criminal justice program, as they're learning the interactions between the sheriff's office and the Grand Island Police Department and NSP, legal assistant, you're just not a secretary typing stuff. There's so much more to it than just a secretary typing stuff. This is somebody who's going to be interacting with a number of different computer programs, a number of different agencies, probation, DHS, the whole point. So I think legal assistant is somebody who's going to do a wide range of things, but at a lesser serious nature. And feel free to, am I getting this about right? Yeah. Okay. And then when you've gotten that experience, when you've got 4, 5, 6 years with us, all of our paralegals have 10 plus years before we contemplated. And that was, when I came to the board to make the paralegal position, it was because these ladies were so much more than legal secretaries. That just didn't encompass it. But I would like, I'm going to try, at least I'm going to go through the classification committee to get away from legal secretary. That's just, it's so much more. And we've specialized because of their organizational decisions. We've specialized. So we have somebody who does discovery only. That would be, she's right now considered a legal secretary. She's more along the lines of a legal assistant. She's not a secretary. She's doing pretty high. We've got, I just worked with her, Ariel, in this particular circumstance. It's the discovery specialist, we call her, but she has to redact out names from a proffer interview. So if you know what proffers, somebody comes in and they talk about a whole lot of people dealing drugs. And they put their life on the line when they're talking about a whole lot of people dealing drugs. So then Ariel has to work with me or Dave or Works or to figure out, to make sure that she gets all of the possible references to these people out of these reports to make sure it doesn't happen. She goes through every single report. She had a 40,000 pages, was that 40,000? It was a lot of financial reports where she's supposed to redact all of them. The point is, it's more than just secretary work. So what differentiates a paralegal from what I'm proposing to be a legal assistant? Years of experience, years of know-how, specialization for a what we call the intake station, where we are pulling all the information, all the reports into our system and sorting them, figuring out where they go and what they should be doing. So I guess that's the answer to the difference between a paralegal and either a legal assistant or a legal secretary.
Is there any, certification or designation to become a paralegal? Do you have to
Not
have?
in the state of Nebraska anymore, no.
There's not an official requirement. However,
So you could take somebody from a legal secretary to a paralegal without any, other than experience would be the.
Correct. Yes, I could.
And there's no continuing legal ed?
No.
Not requirement, although our training budget is quite low. We have sent our folks, at one point in time, some of our folks to training conferences out of state, but there are paralegal trainings that I'm going to try to work in for these folks to help them understand how to better support attorneys as well. I don't know how better they can because they do an amazing job, but my point is that our training budget's fairly low, so I've got to be judicious about how we spend that because we have continuing education legal requirements for our attorneys. They have to get some continuing education, which usually works out because we've got. The point is there's no requirement for continuing legal education for our paralegals, and there's no certification that they have to have in Nebraska. But I put these paralegals up against any paralegal in any other state.
They could probably teach it.
I think they'd be bored if they went to a conference.
I think they could teach it, honestly.
The other thing I do want to say, because I know I've said this to Ron and to Ms. Lancaster, that, sorry, Mr. Peterson, Ms. Lancaster, I don't want to be too informal, but.
I've been called a lot worse, Mike.
Our office is differently situated, and I can defend this request to any other office in the county. Because we are not, we have a like office that has been inflated to match or nearly match ours, which is, it's just not fair. And we're the only office who has given back to this county because of their experience, because of their efficiency, because of their knowledge. And if we lose one of them, and nobody has threatened, that's not what this is about. But if we do, the reality is if we lose one of these individuals, I'm not certain that I am not back here asking for another position. When you lose that amount, no paralegal fewer than 10 years. When you lose that amount of knowledge in the legal field, it's just very difficult to get it back. We've had people in our office that haven't succeeded, that haven't been able to keep up with what we do, and we've had to move on from them. And the folks that we have are all doing a great job. And by the way, we do face the prospect, because we are going to lose, we know this, we're going to lose one of our support staff people who's going to be transitioning to another office. So we are facing this very reality that we're curious, because we haven't had to put applications out for a while, or call for applications. We're curious to see what those applications are going to look like. So this isn't the same as every other office. I think it's defensible what we're asking. It's defensible because the public defender's office, their salaries are inflated to be closer to ours, and that's when it comes year for year, that they shouldn't have come anywhere near us, just on experience-wise, and they are. Their discovery specialist makes more than my discovery specialist. Now, that's not an official title, but that's what we view them as. I lost my papers, but it's 6 years, I think, for Ariel and 2 years for this other woman. I think the other woman's great. I think she probably does a wonderful job. Shouldn't be on the same plane just for years of experience. And the board's budgeting through the public defender's office has allowed that to happen. And Mr. Piccolo and Ms. Kinney have never given a position back. In fact, they've asked to work 40 hours instead of 37 and a half. My people were doing this in 37 and a half hours and have given back 2 positions. I think you can defend this against any other. You can explain. I don't want to defend, explain. You can explain this decision to any other county office, and I'm happy to do that at any point in time. I think this is something that I hope the board will consider doing this. I think this is the right thing to do for the efficiency and the amazing ability of these people have to serve our citizens. You know what's going on in our news right now. We've had a trial with a baby who died in somebody else's care. We have a trial coming up about another baby who died in a daycare. We have we have an individual who was killed recently, or ended up dying from injuries he suffered in downtown Grand Island. These are very serious matters that our office has to serve the public, and we need top-notch people to serve me to make sure that I can be free of all the other stuff, knowing it's going to get done and get done at a high level, so the attorneys can focus on the prosecution of these sorts of things. So, sounds like you may have a question or comment.
Yeah. No, I just want to say that, and I'm little that I know. I can appreciate what you do. I don't know what you do. I mean, I really appreciate what attorneys do. I don't know what they do. I mean, that's why we have them, and that's why people like me are willing to pay for them. So there's that. So, if I stumble through this a little bit, you would understand that. First of all, I see how this came about. And it's frustrating to me because maybe the board wasn't as knowledgeable as we should have been. But second of all, I would say, your office, you're the elected official, I hope you're there a very long time, but I would caution you, how do you account for an entry level? If people are going to be, and I can see that it would be very difficult to hire people with a lot of expertise, I get that. But if you're going to hire somebody and you're going to cut out the word secretary somewhere, I mean, you can't bring people in off the street, you can't bring in me that can type and do whatever and expect me to meet the level that you're expecting us to help you pay for. I mean, so let's be cautious and not do exactly what's brought this about. Meaning, when people come in, you're not going to be able to bring in, as you've said over and over, the same level of expertise. Do I believe that there are probably some comparisons that have been made there that in having all the information that you have seems unfair. I mean, I will say that I was caught up in that a number of years. I'm originally an educator. Really irritated me, quite frankly, that so-and-so across the room, or across the hallway, was making X number of dollars more than I was, simply because he, she, whatever, had more experience when I knew I was doing a better job. My kids were performing better. So there's all of that to be considered, and Ron is correct. I mean, our job as, we need some time to look at this, absorb it, talk about it as a board. I think that's only fair. I wish this would have, what I would, quite frankly, and I've argued about for years, is that this is the, I appreciate the fact that this has come up prior to budget, rather than immediately after, when the ink is hardly dry. That's very upsetting to me, because then we've already set the levy. We don't have a lot of space to go for monies. And there are folks who don't like to have money in reserve. There are differences on this board, because of 7 of us, which is fair. Some people believe in having dollars aside for all of these sorts of things, and I'm very concerned about the salary study, because I just don't know. We don't know what's out there, you know. On the other hand, so anyway, there are all of those concerns that we have to wrestle with, and so if you give us some time, I think that that's a great idea, and I hope that the board will be willing to spend the time to absorb this and really give it some serious considerations on all sides.
Speaking on behalf of the folks behind me, we did not come here today to put you on the spot, expect an answer today. We knew this was going to take some time to look at, take some conversation and some thought to make a decision on your behalf, and just want you to know we weren't coming in here expecting anything to take place today. We wanted you to hear us out. We wanted to be able to present, be able to support what they're asking, and speak on their behalf on what an excellent group of staff we have.
And then one last question for you, and that's this increase. Does that include, is that over and above the increase we were going to give you, the step and the percentage, or is this the total that you're asking for, and that would be part of it?
What are you talking about, Pam? You got
I'm
me
talking
confused.
about,
So we gave a 3%
So in essence,
COLA.
And then you've
are we
got
asking for
steps.
12 or are we asking for 15 considering? It's 12.
Yeah, it's 12.
So the 3%.
So it'd be
Well, it's not just
9% more
three,
than we
it's a step.
originally.
COLA and steps right at
Steps.
4.5, 5, depending
Yes.
on individual.
yes.
Real
Yeah, but-
honestly, I mean, that also is, the step increase is probably worth about 1.5%, somewhere in that
That's what you
range.
just said, so.
So
And with
anybody
your-
that's eligible for a step would be getting 4.5.
With your experience, though, you got a lot of people that are at step 10. I think.
But we
If I
also,
can just back up a little bit, as far as the submission of the budget, and I know we haven't got to the budget itself yet, when we did the budget based on the bit of conversation we had at the classification committee, if this was granted, there would be no steps the first year. So when you're saying eligible for a step, there would be none, and that's how that budget was figured. With the additional 12%, because 3% was already given, and then no additional steps throughout the fiscal.
Okay, so
Does that make
it
sense?
is additional. It is not inclusive. It's additional. That's what I was getting at.
Okay.
okay.
I didn't quite understand your question.
That's okay.
sorry.
No, okay, maybe I didn't make it clear.
Okay.
15 and without a step for this year, and then after that.
Okay. Karen?
Real quick though,
Sorry.
we still do have the entry-level position of somebody coming off the street who we can't find, of our receptionist. So,
Ah,
so there's receptionist, legal assistant, paralegal. So our goal would be to bring somebody in as a receptionist who didn't have either public defender experience or prior experience with our office, because we are so different that our goal would be to take our receptionist, get them familiar with everything, and then shuffle up and hire the receptionist. So we do still have a true entry-level position.
gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Karen?
The only question I had was on the paralegal title and the secretary 2 title. I see there's a wage difference. What is the knowledge difference?
Okay.
Could a secretary 2 be categorized as a paralegal?
Well,
Because the
they talked about
paralegal
that
has-
earlier.
Yes, because there are no certification requirements. For us, it's a differentiation of experience. Basically, not only prior experience, but also experience within the office.
So would we go paralegal 1 and paralegal 2, 3 to get that in 2 steps?
That's what Brandy, Amber, and myself have talked about, but knowing that we haven't been able to group with Marty and get back to the classification committee to actually discuss title differences, you're on the same path, Karen.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if that would be a thought.
And the other thing I do want to mention, because Pam mentioned it, and I think she's right, and Ron and I have talked, and he's been highly suggestive that we do this within the confines of a budget. They came to me back in January, and I said, let's give ourselves our best possibility, and let's do this within the budgetary process. And so we did. We to their credit, they're like, okay, that makes sense. Ron suggested we go to classification, so we prepared ourselves for classification. So we're here at the board because Ron suggested, because we were trying to reschedule to bring more additional information to classification before it came back here. So we were definitely not trying to put the board on the spot here, because we did go to classification first, and we waited for this proposal from when it first arose to come to classification. We were prepared to go back to classification, but then it was suggested we go ahead and just come to the board with this. So we have tried to honor the budgeting process.
Scott?
And you did a great job, thank you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say thanks for doing everything you've done. The information we got here is enough to digest, I think, for now.
Do we have any?
Personally-
Oh, sorry.
Personally, I do. I think you guys, your office runs really well, and from everything I've heard,
Thank you.
it's been working really well. Appreciate you giving up positions and everything. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have to talk to the board and do our salary studies and everything else where we can say yes, no, maybe. If it'd be all right with you guys, I'd like to dive into your budget a little bit.
Yeah, I was
think
gonna ask
that's-
if we wanna
I
do
think we
that.
need to move on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just looking at your budget, the only thing that really stood out to me was your health insurance line item again. I think last year we bumped it back considerably from what was initially proposed for the budget. And just seeing actual versus budgeted and the proposed for next year, I'm just curious as to where the numbers are gonna land, I guess, compared to what you're thinking and projecting.
We do have a couple employees that did change from single to family.
Okay.
Actually 3.
Threes,
So that would make a
$2,000.
difference, but also it could be our attorney vacancy. Look at that, Marty.
You have one vacancy, right?
No, we have 3 right now.
Attorneys.
Well, let me back up, because this is the other thing. We budgeted for 14 attorneys. Last year, the board didn't allow me to budget for a 14th attorney. I had in essence 13 and a half, and I didn't use that half. We went with 13, didn't use anywhere near the 13 because we've been short. When we brought on our 3 folks last August, we got to 3 attorneys short. Let me back up. We got to 2 attorneys short, 2.5 attorneys short. Jan Reeves was stayed on as part-time, and then she left, so we are currently 3 attorneys short. If I'm allowed to budget for all 14 attorneys as in prior years, which is what I'd like to do. I've got a possibility of a civil-only attorney that I'm hopeful that will work out, that I can bring to the board, would be ideal, with experience. Negotiating right now to see how that might work. At any rate, we've budgeted for 14 attorneys. This budget is inclusive of a full staff 14 attorneys, which is more than we were allowed to budget for last year. The board said cut 120, and what that ended up being was a full-time secretary position, and then we attributed the part-time to the attorney. So this budget includes 14 attorneys, which then I think we figured full health insurance on each of those open 3 positions for the attorneys. Is that right?
I think so.
That's your family coverage for 3 additional plus that, so yeah, that's 150,000. That's
We have-
exactly where you're at. So.
We have one attorney who is, we have an individual who's taking the bar exam next week, and name is Clayton. Going to take the bar exam next week, is committed to starting on August 3rd. August 3rd. I don't know if he will be a full-time, I suspect he'll be a full-time health insurance when he comes on as a, we're gonna bring him on as a paralegal based on his experience going through law school. Once he gets his bar results back in September, assuming a passage of the bar, he will then be placed at attorney level 1 with the differential and will be full-time insurance, and so we will be 2 attorneys short at that point in time. We budgeted 1 attorney, I think, for kind of mid-level, and then 1 attorney at the lower levels where we kind of slotted them for the budgeting purposes. Both of them, I think we budgeted, I'm sure we budgeted for full-time health or family health insurance to account for the potential that they have families.
And then going to the line item for your chief deputy salary, I just saw it was requested to be lower than what actual was last year. I didn't know if chief deputy's only been on for a partial year. Or...
Should be 92% of Marty's wage.
Okay, I just saw where there'd be a reduction in pay possibly from what last year's was.
The salary itself, so the way this worked out, because the board granted us the differential, 9,900, I think, the chief deputy's relationship to my salary got way closer to the 92%. And so when the board set my salary, I think it's 160, the 160.
Yeah, it's January, yeah.
Beginning in January, that's right, and we accounted for January. The chief deputy's salary won't quite reach the 92% of mine, so it will look like he gets a pay decrease, but the $9,900 plus his salary puts that 92% relation. So my chief deputy and my 2 division chiefs, their increase is gonna be a little bit less because of their relationship to me than they were before, but they got a whole year of this additional pay, which put them all 3 closer to me than they're
That
supposed
shows
to
up in the
otherwise be.
differential line then.
Yep.
So that may be that difference.
Okay.
Just
That makes
making sure.
sense.
But he's not gonna take a pay cut,
Okay.
overall.
Yep.
Yeah, this was the first year that we did that.
Yep.
So that's why you saw the
Nope, that makes sense.
And I forgot.
It's all right. No, that makes sense.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? I mean, is it reasonable that you might be able to reduce the allocation for health insurance just a little bit of money, just simply because they're not gonna have a full year of coverage?
Enough full year, I mean,
That
based
would
on
be the only
family
reason,
coverage,
because
that's
they'll
what,
have next
31.5
year.
you said?
If they, yeah,
Family was 31.5 or 31.6?
31.2.
31.2.
31.2.
Yeah.
That's $94,000 there. That's up in the air for a partial year.
You know, what I was thinking, maybe take 20 or 30,000 out of that number.
I'll let you decide that.
I mean, that's
Budget
something
for it,
that
it's just-
definitely, you can get that money out of the budget and use it where you need to if we don't get somebody hired. But if we do, it's always the risk that Marty would come back to the board saying, hey, this
Well, but-
person's family, that's gonna be a little bit higher in our budget, just so you know, because we can't control that.
Well, what I'm saying is that if we didn't take the full amount out, let's say we took 20,000, by the time you get somebody hired and get them eligible for the health insurance, it's gonna be, you're already
6 months.
3 months into the year.
Yeah, listen,
And isn't there
I
a delay?
don't have a stack of
3 months?
applications on my desk. I have 2, I'm gonna have 2 openings, 3 right now, 2 as of August 3rd, and I don't have any imminent hires on the way.
We're happy to support the budget. It's just the actual numbers of how they're going to end up.
Yeah,
We
I know where
understand.
it's at.
Yeah,
It's just-
I will trust your judgment on that.
Isn't there a delay in their coverage for health insurance? Isn't there a waiting period or something?
60
So,
60 days.
see, that'll account for it too. So,
Right,
yeah, I
that's,
think we can.
like Scott said, we're looking at
Like,
probably
take
60.
20,000 out of that
20
number?
And that would easily, I think, be fine.
I think so.
I'd be worried about 30, but I'll take,
I think you could take 40, see off it, and get it back to what last year's number was. And
Worst case
then
scenario. you
reality,
come back.
that's 1.5 essentially.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we take the 20 off and then keep that as a backup in case we,
I'd rather do that.
okay? All right. Let's go on to your other budgets before we,
Yeah, sorry to keep going.
child support.
You're free to go if you'd like. You can hang out, whatever you want to do.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
It wasn't me, it was my sister. She has told me it was her sister. I played, I wasn't good though.
Sorry, Jane.
Well, that's all right. Jane thinks she's a great golfer, and that isn't true.
Oh! Shots fired. Did you hear that? He said, well, Jane thinks she's a great golfer.
Ron thinks he's a great.
I'm a has-been, so. All right, let's go on to the child support. Is there anything there?
Nothing changed with child support.
And they're fully staffed?
Fully staffed, same employees as last year.
Okay. And that number includes the proposed wage increases also?
It does.
Okay.
Our budget is based on the proposed wage increases. We would be able to resubmit if the board decided to reduce to 9% or 6% or just said, no, go with the standard, we'll resubmit.
Okay, all right.
I assume someone's health insurance went down too, because that's just lower than actual.
Yes, somebody doesn't have it at all anymore.
I wanted to make sure
Yep.
that we've had other typos, not that I would ever expect that of you, Bunny, but I just
I'm human.
wanted to make sure that we don't short you.
What?
Okay.
I'm human.
Then let's go on to the diversion
Thanks.
budget.
Stop program.
Yeah. There's nothing there.
No.
The drug law enforcement, I don't know that there's any changes for that.
Those are funded.
Yeah. Forfeiture fund, that's a plug number, I assume. And
That's actually a true figure. That's the money that you have left over from the HIDA funds that we still need to use.
JDI, that's fully, that, no, as I understand it, that no longer,
There's
the
no
grant funds are discontinued?
Correct, there's no grant offset anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second year, no grant.
And equipment reserve, you've got some money set aside for furniture?
Yeah, that,
Equipment,
Equipment, okay,
machines.
yeah, okay. Yeah, 2 copiers. Okay. All right. Are you gonna do, juvenile diversion is next up, so I think we're done with you unless we have any questions from anybody else. We will consider your requests. And
let me know, I'll come back with, no matter what.
Thank you.
okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, I gotta get out of here.
Okay, we are now on page 15. Sorry for the delay there. We had, anytime you get an attorney on the table, it takes longer.
More than one.
It looks, other than pay, there isn't anything, any, yeah.
This one includes the 12%.
Right.
Yes. So what, operating expenses stayed the same?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know that there's anything other than the discussion that we're gonna have on wages that would really change here, so,
It's really rising.
yeah.
And in that packet that Brandy handed out, there's a page that explains the diversion and how we get funds back from the grant for our positions and stuff, so
Yeah.
I should detail it.
Yeah, I think, it's offset with, it looks like 105,000 in state grants and 14.9 for fees. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and also reimbursement for electronic monitoring of detention alternatives.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for that budget? Okay. Thank you, ladies. That was easy.
Yeah.
Yes, Jerry. That's right.
Okay.
That's who it was.
Couldn't remember who it was.
So the next one is actually county court. They were not able to come today, but their budget is very simple. I don't think anyone's
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
It's on page 7.
Yeah, so we'll move on to page 18 then.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, Tim.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I do want to say something before we get into the budget side. I really think that it's been very helpful for your contributions to the courthouse project in terms of involved in some of the discussions we've had there. I know there've been some meetings involved with your offices and input from you people that have been very helpful.
Thank you.
So,
We're willing to do what we need to make it through. There's a lot of work to be done, but we're already kind of planning on getting our things ready to make that move, so.
Yeah.
Are you hiring someone new? Because it says clerical salary has gone up quite considerably.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Oh, clerical salary, line 1-0305.
Okay.
Did you have new hires?
Looks like she had a vacancy almost. She had budgeted 270 to 217 in the last year actual.
Okay.
Short
a hard
employee
time
last year.
Hearing you guys.
Were you short an employee last year?
We were, and I did budget, this is, I have an open position. We did lose somebody, and it happened again this year. We just hired someone, May, just the first part of May, who's just going through her training. So that office, my office does need that position. It takes time to get someone. You can't just hire off the street. We do the best that we can. Hall County doesn't have an HR. It takes time. So I did budget for that. You can compare with other offices our size, and we do need that position. And we're working on that right now as we speak. So we have a new one that just started, and,
So you are full at this point then?
we still have
One
an
position.
open position.
Okay.
And I did budget that as a single
Health insurance?
health insurance. We do need it, and it just takes, it's a process
Yeah.
that anyone who is in charge of that office knows that we're running really tight with people, and it's a process, so.
Okay.
We just listened to that process.
Yes,
Yeah.
and-
You can't just get anybody off the street. So, yeah, so I think that's, I don't think the
It's
board
legitimate.
is having any heartburn over the fact that, you happen to have a position, you were able to fill it, but you lost somebody else, so. It's
Right, we
unfortunate.
have someone, we're really, really busy right now with a lot going on. We've had 5 jury trials since June 1st, and
Wow.
we could hire somebody and they'd sit there waiting for us to train them, and we're working on one now, so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the additional information.
Yeah.
We can't know that, so thank you.
Other than that, I don't have any other additions to my budget, so.
Anybody have any questions?
I think after 2020,
How busy is the passport office?
Pretty busy.
She has lines about every day.
Yeah, Marla sees it. Yeah.
Yes. Can't get down the hallway.
It's just anticipation. At all times these days.
How long has it taken for a process of passport?
Routine service is 4 to 6 weeks, plus mail time. That does not include mail time.
Which is another week or 10 days?
They say allow 2 weeks on each end. I don't think normally it takes that long, but it could.
2 months.
There's still the option
you know, some people are like panicking, oh my gosh, I didn't even know it was outdated. Can you go to Denver, can you go to Kansas City, do you know about that? You get it, like,
Denver has a passport agency, but you can't just walk in. You have to have urgent travel within 2 weeks and proof of that. So it's not an easy fix. If somebody forgets, they could be,
See?
yeah,
That's why.
rescheduling, yeah.
I just got my
Oh, lucky you. Did you get it here?
Yeah, they can come faster, but I have to play it safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
4 to 6 weeks.
So, where's that? I always like to look too at our revenues for this, so where's? Oh, thank you. Duh. Thank you, thank you.
So basically, it looks like just about a break-even
Yep,
office.
yep, perfect. That's
Okay.
what we like to see. I mean, we're
Good.
sorry you're so busy, but we're happy for us.
Right.
You know, that's great. Yep, it does.
And
Job security.
That's right, it is. I don't know if you noticed, I'm asking for a little bit of an increase on my budget, or supply budget. It's been the same forever. And it's just a little hard to stay within that, especially with the toner I have to buy.
yeah, that's,
Makes sense.
okay.
Yes,
Bless
250,
her heart.
250 increase to 725.
Bless your heart. Well,
I won't spend it if I don't have to.
Well, we appreciate you very much. We're glad you're there.
Thank you.
Okay, and it looks like we've got a little bit of money in the equipment reserve.
Yeah, that's the very top one, now, the copier printer.
Mm-hmm. $3,500, and that's not close to being,
It's
How
not up
much
this
did you
year.
say?
That's for the clerk.
we have,
Okay, I was
Mine,
gonna say,
yeah,
that
I
didn't sound like
did,
me.
For a printer.
Yeah.
Copier.
yeah. Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Nice job, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a 5-minute bathroom break.
we always transfer the 500,000 to miscellaneous general to support property taxes. We also, the last several years, have been transferring out $250,000 to support, increases in general cash reserves, to keep our cash reserves, as close to in line as we can with the 25% recommendation from the state auditor. And then you'll see the third and largest transfer there, for the building and land reserve that we just went over this year is $1,770,000. And then we do keep, when you'll see there at the bottom, we budget $12 million in expenses. So remember, we had 13 on the revenue side. We just keep a $1 million cash reserve in the inheritance fund. Any questions on inheritance?
I guess I only had a question, about building and land transfer. I know it's been consistent around that 1.7 or so, but seeing how the majority of these projects I don't foresee getting spent out this year, is there interest, in maybe putting another 250 into reserves from that 1.7 and take it down closer to the 1.5 and adjust some line items? I know we just got done doing building and land. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just thinking from a budgetary standpoint that those would go towards actual reserves instead of line items that are going to be plug numbers for the year, if we actually put it towards something that's building towards something.
I'd be fine with that, because I think that the reserves are a
It
big,
doesn't impact
big
tax
deal
rate.
and
This
going to
would
be a
not
big
affect
deal.
the tax asking.
Right.
However, it would
But
get
it would
us
help the
closer to our
reserves.
goal of getting that
25%.
25% cash reserves. But
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding, Scott, you're proposing basically just taking 250 out of somewhere in building and land improvement reserve, and then you're proposing moving that transfer to general to increase cash reserves by an additional 250,000.
So it'd be
750,
750.
No, it'd be 500,000.
It'd be 500
So-
for the general cash reserve.
I just want to make sure, I know I said this on day one, but I'll make sure everyone remembers, and so that so I make sure I'm being clear with all of you. We have done a $250,000 transfer from inheritance, but when we look at actual general cash reserve, we have done a $500,000 increase to the reserve, because we just start to fall a tick behind, and so we've been doing 250, and so we have done a $500,000 increase to general cash reserve to try to at least hold the line and hopefully slowly get caught back up. So I guess what I'm asking is if,
This line will get updated. I didn't update it because we weren't quite to day 3 yet, but, that cash reserve line is 500.
okay, wait, I have a question for you, Kim. I know you've increased the cash reserve by 500 in the general side, but when you did the transfers, did you do a $500,000 transfer or only a 250? Oh, you did do a 500, okay, I thought.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
just, this sheet should be updated.
Right.
If we're
Yes.
going to look at it appropriately. So it's already.
So
We've
500
already
is
moved
being
it.
done.
It's there, but I guess my question would be on this sheet, where did it
Where did it come
come
from?
from to offset that? Is it?
Did it
coming
come
out of
from, like,
building and land, or did it come
projects?
out of-
Project, yep, it would come from the future projects. We lowered that.
Okay, so future projects.
Either way, I mean, you take it out of future product or projects, and you'd almost do another 250. I mean,
Okay.
looking back 2 years ago, we did 750.
Yeah, okay.
Um, It's just an idea, knowing where the funds are likely gonna get spent this year. I just don't, I know the boilers, chillers and stuff like that, yeah, you're knocking on $1 million for corrections right there, but
You could take it out of that storage building.
that's what I mean. Like, I don't foresee that going up in the next year, if not 3, but that's just my gut feeling. I don't know.
They'll be using that parking lot for a while.
That's what I mean, like, it's bare minimum of a year before they get those trailers off. I guess we
Well,
can circle back to that maybe.
A lot of it's gonna be, if we're gonna do something for employees again. Like Marty and the rest of it, if we go back and do something, but if we do something for Marty's people, we're gonna end up doing it all the way across the board. That's not fair to the rest.
That's why Ron mentioned mentioned we need to figure out what we're gonna do from the salary study, and I don't know, Kim, if we need to revisit the board budget. Like, I don't know, do we have that budgeted for a salary study anywhere? Or miscellaneous general?
We don't have a
or-
line item budgeted for the salary study. However, there is a miscellaneous line in the general fund of 500,000.
Sure.
Right.
There's also the inheritance fund that you have done special projects.
Sure.
Paid for that out of,
Which is fine, I'm just curious if we got it budgeted anywhere, if we need.
No, we don't.
No, a specific line, no.
That's,
You know-
because I have no idea what it's gonna cost. What did it cost in 2015? I mean, whatever it was then, double it, maybe? Like, I mean, just,
At least, probably.
I mean, with what everything's
Right.
done, I
I
don't
think
know.
it would be a good idea to put a line item somewhere for that project.
I agree. And I wrote a note here and then forgot to bring it up, but absolutely I agree. I think we should have a line item, not just take it out of miscellaneous, because that's for unintended or unknown expenses.
We're
And we know
planning-
this is something we need to do.
Planning on doing this.
Right, right. So I would be great putting that into inheritance
Yeah.
or, whatever. And Marla, what did it cost us last time?
60,000
So I'm
Yeah.
probably, what,
120,
a year.
150,
150?
depending on-
Just-
Maybe we get somebody to do it for 100, but I don't even know who.
We have to find,
Contact.
Yeah, we have to find, I don't
Okay.
know, and it's professional services, so wouldn't necessarily have to
You
go
don't
out
have
for
to bid.
bids. We used Capital City Concepts last time, but I mean, and so, and actually, when the John Gumas study was done back in 1999, John Gumas was the gentleman that worked on that one, and then it's Paul Essman that worked on the Capital City Concept one. So, but I mean, there's probably other consultants out there.
yeah, I've
The
asked,
logic to me, double it, right? That's probably better than 150, put 120 in there. If it's 60,
Yeah, yeah.
120,
For
I
initial.
think.
yeah, and just so you know, I've asked Kim to contact the larger counties to find out if they've used anybody.
And who,
Yeah.
yep, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
And who knows,
but,
maybe we can get closer on that number instead of just having being a plug before the end of budget season,
Yeah.
know what that number is.
So we'll add a line in inheritance for salary study.
yep,
And I'm also hearing to adjust the revenues to 750 and adjust the building and land to 250.
I think so.
Okay.
If everybody's all right with that idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it down from the storage.
take it
building.
down, yeah.
Okay.
From 500,000 or whatever it was. Take that down to 250.
And again, none of those things will impact,
Yeah, it's okay.
the
It's not
salary
just
study
tax
will,
asking, it's more of
yeah,
putting things aside.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel much better about some of those decisions.
Do you want me to keep going, or do you want me to stop?
Well, let's go, because there's somebody ahead of them.
I was
so-
gonna say, I thought somebody was, okay.
Oh, there's Vicki out there.
Oh, Vicki is out there.
Well, I will
Okay.
stop.
Okay. Okay.
Morning.
Well, here we go.
We are on page 24.
How are you?
Do you want to talk?
Doing good.
Okay. So I guess looking at the budget requests from last year to this year, did you have any changes in headcount or anything like that? Or?
We changed one line, I believe. The head count, are you saying?
I'm sorry.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, we're missing
Oh,
two.
yeah. I'm sorry, I apologize, yeah.
No, you're good.
We have 2 openings right now. We have a couple people we've been talking to, and we're hoping, maybe?
Both attorney spots?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And on those, do you budget for family coverage on health insurance?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Have you had any applications or?
Yes, we've had some interviews, and we're kind of waiting on things and
Sure.
seeing how they go, yes.
Didn't know if there was hopes of having somebody
We're
on
hoping
in the next month or talking 6 months.
Probably in the next 6 months, we're hoping.
You're not budgeting anything for juvenile defender salary? Is that because you're jumping them into the other area, other
Yes.
deputies?
Yes.
So you just
We-
combined those?
When we discussed with Marty Klein and his office, they didn't have it separated, and I just don't feel the need to have it separated. And so we're just trying to make it uniform across the county and doing the same as what the Marty Klein's office is doing. We just felt it'd be easier.
So basically, you moved that number into the
Deputy salary.
deputy salaries, so that would, if you combine those,
Yes.
460. And the difference between the two from actual to current is the vacancy rates?
Yes.
Have you changed any, as far as pay scales?
Yes, people have been bumped up on the pay scales after their annual anniversaries, yes,
One step?
yes.
Okay. So basically, they're getting a cost of living plus step increase if they're eligible for a step increase?
That's correct.
Going back to the health insurance side of your current employees, has anybody made any different elections that you know of from last year to this year, going from single to family?
So we did budget for one of the secretaries as family. She ended up not taking it, but this was after we sent the budget in. So that one can be taken off, that 31,200 for Alicia Ruiz.
So that could be 15,
16 something, 16.
Actually could
She
be
didn't-
zero.
she
She
did-
elected, she didn't
did
take
not take
anything.
And we didn't until, I mean, obviously.
We
the
didn't know
open
until
enrollment
elections,
was
yeah.
5,
And the
32.
positions we've been budgeting for.
Family,
Yes.
yes.
so let's reduce that health insurance line by that amount
By
then?
31, 2.
Yeah.
550?
By what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I think you could cut health insurance by 50 if we don't have those positions filled yet. You've
So
got-
based on last year's number at 130, if you bump that down 30, let's say, for not having to go from family to not having any, you'd be at 103, and then let's say you did have 2 new employees come on, that's 63,000. You're
So that
still
it is
gonna
half,
be-
yeah.
Even at 200,000, you got about a
Long.
$50,000 cushion.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
It'd be
40,000.
basically like cutting the one family to none, and then it'd be like cutting one family to a single kind of
Yeah.
effect.
That would probably be the way to put it in there.
There's probably room in there for 50.
Yeah.
agree.
I agree.
Okay?
Which is,
So just
Well, if you
reducing
make
that
it-
line item
By 50,000.
I think that's,
And I can just do that.
You guys
Okay.
can
Send you a.
Okay, perfect, and you'll send it over. Thank
just
you.
gonna note it on our
Can we just
paperwork.
go 200? I mean, does anybody have any heartburn over?
Yeah, no, I think that's,
198.
So like cut 48,000, you're saying?
yeah.
Yeah, just so it's.
Oh,
an
okay, so
even-
it's just an even, that makes
That's-
sense.
I don't know, I just thought maybe that may.
I like round numbers. Makes life easier.
And then you did add a line item or a figure on the legal fees murder complex cases. Can you explain that?
No, we had that last year.
There's nothing in the budget for it.
Wasn't there? I don't think I
We
cut
didn't
last
budget for it last year. We budgeted for it this year.
Oh, we didn't have it called that last year?
Because we've
No,
always
we
had.
did have
we've
it
had
under there.
Not in this budget.
on a different line somewhere else.
Was it in the justice budget?
No, we have it under,
Because, yeah, there's no history for it for the last 2 years for that particular line item.
because we just changed the name. But basically what we did is we did it the same as county prosecutor. We just budgeted it all in. What is that number? But that's what I've been putting it under.
Shouldn't be in the justice budget, just looking at their previous operating costs, it's up
Because we budgeted
Which
50,000
line-
last year.
Which line is that?
It'd be 2-2417.
Yeah, right here, the adopted 50,000 for 2-2417.
That's for this year, but there's nothing in the previous budgets.
Yeah, the previous one, we had them broke down all sorts of different things. Like we had them, I don't even remember, I'd have to go back and look at my old stuff. That was still under the Piccolo part. And then this last year, we just merged it all together. I spoke with Bunny, and she says we just do it like as murder, consulting. She does it all as one.
Do you mind if I show you what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Here's what we're looking at.
Thank you.
So I think like what so like when we're looking at this, here's what we see. And so like, let's just focus on this part right here, which is all the operating expenses. So like, here's the new 50 they're seeing, and they're not seeing it before. And then similarly, if you would just look at the totals, like that is, you know, clearly up by basically the 50,000 plus I think a little bit here. But so we don't know if that was used to be budgeted in a different budget and it got moved here, or if it's truly a new expense. That's what I think they're just trying to understand.
The most logical place it would be in the justice budget,
Yeah.
wouldn't
What
it?
I would think is justice. maybe.
Now, our report shows it in justice system. Our report shows it right here in the justice
That's-
system.
And that's,
Great if that's where it was.
That we,
She is looking at a justice system page,
And
and it's
legal-
the same line number, 2-2417.
so I'm not sure why.
and we put everything in the justice.
Is it
sorry.
Hold on, I've
duplicated?
got justice pages right
Let's see if
following.
we have it both places.
That's what I was just going to look, and I thought I know there's a justice page right next to it. So we just looked at it for, county attorney, because
It's
that's
on page
ADA.
35 on page 30.
35, thank you.
There's 50,000 budgeted in it.
There is.
Yeah, okay, so we just need to decide where that's going to go, and we can take out 50 from one spot, it seems like.
I think it's
That would be
Because,
agreeable.
yes, because it is
Okay, I'm
still
like,
right here,
oh my
too.
gosh, I know, I
No,
only
it
got
is.
it in one place.
So I think
Okay.
we take it out of the public defender's office.
And put into
it in
justice.
I think that
bec-
makes sense.
That was our understanding. Yep, that was my understanding.
So we should reduce that by 50 and just leave it.
Look at us reducing for you.
Pretty good help.
Woo, I was getting a little scared. I'm like, I guess I don't know what I'm doing.
That's why I bring you along. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, good. Got that.
Okay, anything else that we have? I assume you're probably using interpreters a little bit more?
Yes, I mean, it ebbs and flows, and we can't gauge that, but that one usually is right there at the limit, but the last 2 years, I think they've been over, and we can't control that. We really can't control
Yeah,
that, so
yeah.
that's why we were asking for a slight
Do you
increase on
have
that.
trouble finding sources for other than Spanish?
Yes.
I would think that would be
And we do use that, and it's more expensive too, though. I mean,
And
it
if they
just-
have troubles finding
Some of
language
them,
on the
some of them,
language
yes.
lines, yeah.
Yes, it depends on who's coming through on the interstate. I mean, that's usually what it is. It's some of those truckers.
Just like Arabic, there's 64 different dialects.
That's
Yeah.
true, that's true.
What do you ask for?
That's
Yeah.
true.
And Guatemala too.
They have
Guatemala,
quite a few.
they,
hate to tell you, but there's about 25 different English dialects too.
True. I did want to also inform the board while we were here, for the new courthouse, obviously, we had that death in our office, and we have a memorial bike rack that we have planned to put in front of the new courthouse. We've spoken to Dune about this, and he said it can be worked in, but I would say to you that anytime you drive by the courthouse now, there's not a bike rack, and people chain their bikes to the benches, chain their bikes to different things, and
That would be
I
nice.
think a bike rack would look nice, and it's completely paid for. We have a plaque on it, and so we have it ready to, we thought about putting it in front of the old courthouse, but then sometimes things don't get moved or whatever, so we're just holding on to it till the new courthouse opens, and then we have this bike
a
rack
great
with a
idea.
plaque
Very nice, yes.
to give to the
Yeah, we just need
courthouse.
Find the right spot for it.
Yep, and Dune said he could. We've been talking to him, and he said he'd be able to find a place for it.
Not going to. I'm not
We've
gonna
already
do that.
paid for it, we're paying for it, so.
Yeah, we'll just get doing on it.
All right.
Is
Any-
there, I'm just curious on like the depositions went up, you know, almost 50% too, and we weren't even close to last year's budget. Do you guys have an expectation that that's gonna be up this year?
Could be.
I just see it went from 10 to 14, and we
I
only
think that
spent
was-
3,700.
I think that was based on some of the bigger cases that we have been assigned recently, that are just, they're gonna take some work. And I think they're gonna be coming up that they're gonna have to be dealt with and have depositions and stuff. And so that's, I think that was the reason for it, is just because some of the bigger cases that are getting ready for trial and stuff, and that'll be going in this next year.
What about, you know, I know there's some discussion about trying to limit the number of cases that you've farmed out. Has that still been, are you still able to pretty much handle those, or?
We have farmed out a few last month.
Yeah.
Because of.
Staff shortage?
Yeah, staff shortage and stuff. We're not doing that now. It's just kind of.
We got those really two big ones, too, that take your time.
Right, and so, and I myself personally am scheduled for a month trial in September, and I will not be able to do anything, and so we were kind of taking that into account when we got out of a few cases, last month. So, we don't do it often, and we don't do it lightly, but sometimes, yes, it is necessary. I don't believe we've got any juvenile cases at all because of too many cases. We've been able to keep all those. The only cases that we've had to get out of in juvenile is because of conflicts.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions, or? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Todd? We are on page 27.
Yeah, sorry, you guys got other stuff? Did we miss or? Butch? Darn it.
I've never noticed that. Well, hope you don't mind I brought my assistant director along. It's because my number of budget days are counting down, so figured I'd spread the knowledge a little bit, so.
Well, he can join you if you want.
Grab a chair. Stay a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because then we can drill him, too.
Yeah.
That's right, we're glad to have you.
He's got a couple of things. All right, so, you want me to start on some payroll stuff?
Yeah.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
all right, so generally payroll is based on the increases in the contracts and increases in cost of living. The difference is, well, one, I want to just point out, that corrections jailer's salaries at 13, or 315, it's got a pretty significant increase in it. If you look back at what we've spent out of that line item last year, we actually spent 101% of that line item. I mean, so we went a little bit over health insurance, so we had quite a bit extra in there. And I was trying to figure out exactly why that was the case, because we had some shortages last year, and it didn't make any sense that we were that close. I know we took I think it was 110,000 out of it last year, which is not a ton. I think we've taken more than that out in some last ones, but I think what it comes down to is we were right in the middle of some promotions and stuff where we were looking at trying to budget people where they're coming from and where they're going and things like that, and I think it was just kind of an underestimate of what we had. So And that's, might be part of the reason why this is such a big increase too, is we were a little bit underestimated last year, but, so, yeah, but otherwise, that's just that 6% contract and the same with those others in that particular line item. Want to point out on what, 308, the medical staff salaries. That's cost of living and pay steps is, I don't know if you remember the way I was doing this, where we had 6 full-time nurses in addition to the nurse supervisor, and those 6 nurses, we decided to leave one of those open and use part-time people to fill in, because it was kind of thought it was a better way to do it. Well, my plan is we've actually hired that full-time nurse now, and I wanted to just keep a little bit extra money there to have those part-time PRN nurses as needed, you know, that can fill in. One thing, our medical staff accounted for like 23,000 out of the overtime budget this year. I mean, and that's because we're using people that are working full-time and they're getting that overtime. If we can get more and more of those part-time people, I think it'll cut that down too. So not that it's going to be, overall it's going to be less, but we feel it's not like we're hiring anybody new. It's part-time people that are already on the books. So
That's Butch.
oh,
Every now and then
His
he's,
cell phone issue.
yeah.
Hey Todd, out of curiosity, on your
Yeah.
overtime line item, would you say the majority of it's coming from the medical staff or from
well,
anywhere particular, I guess?
well, it's the medical staff was like 23,000 of that, so it's
On a per
it's
person, that's
significant.
pretty significant.
But I think it's that was a big part of it, but it's, you know, we have people getting sick, that sort of stuff, that becomes a problem. We had some shortages there for a while where we were actually down 4, 5, 6 people there, and then when that happens, it really hits it hard, because now we're using that on-call stuff and people coming in and working shifts, so that hits it hard. So right now, that it should be slowing down, but then we also have situations where a lot of people go to the hospital over the last few months here, and when they go to the hospital and they have to stay a day or 2 or something like that, that just kills us on overtime, you know, because we have to have 2 people there the whole time, and if there's not enough people on shift, that means it's pretty much overtime, you know, and we always work real hard to try to get something figured out so we don't have to stay there, but sometimes what they're charged with, they got to stay in custody and they can't bond out and they don't want to release them, and that's understandable, but we always try. That's a big part of it. What I bumped up with on-call pay is we're pretty much right on. We spent $38,115 last year. I bumped it up a little bit just because everybody got 6% raise. If we don't account for that, that's pretty close to where it needs to be. I mean, we know what that's going to cost us. And then overtime, just basically, I don't think that 8,800, that 10% I added on there is going to be enough, but it's just adding something. I mean, wages are going up. There's going to be it's going to cost more. And bilingual pay, same thing. It's just we budgeted 20,000 last year. We spent 28,300 on bilingual pay, and that's just one. We're getting more bilingual people coming in, and 2, it's wages are going up. But
where are you at staffing wise right now?
Right now, we are 2 short, but they're hired and they'll start in August.
Awesome.
so.
That's good.
It's, the thing is, even if we're running pretty close to full staff, you know, every time there's turnover, they go 60 days without health insurance, why is there, there's a lot of extra money in that health insurance, is those kind of things. That's always, that 60-day lag really make a difference, but,
I'm just wondering whether that isn't an area where we might be able to reduce that number just a little bit.
the big,
Yeah.
the health insurance or?
No, the health insurance.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, we had an extra 300 and some thousand, yeah, in there.
So could you take, say, 143 or reduce it?
I think that's reasonable, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We took 110 out last year, and we ended up with 300,000 left in there, so.
19, get it back to where it was last year?
No, I was just to do 143, get it right down to $1,000,007 even.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta get the right number. 143, 345?
Yeah.
Yep.
What number are you bringing it down to again?
17 even is what I.
Well,
okay.
$1,007,000 for health insurance
Okay.
from $1,843.
Oh, I do want to address the assistant director's salary too. If you, I had it in my notes that I had, but it was, just something that has become an issue over the last few years. And what I wanted to propose, so here's the deal. If you look at the pay scales, the county pay scales, you know, that have been in place for quite a while, and you look at the difference between the assistant director and the sheriff's captain, okay? That assistant director is a couple of pay scales above, which I think it was put that way for a reason, and basically how many people that, the responsibilities, how many people that he manages and those sorts of things, it makes sense. Well, over the years, the sheriff's department has bumped up those captains outside of that pay range. And so now it's making probably a couple of pay steps above the assistant director, which, and I'm not saying, I have no comment on who's getting paid too much or anything like that. It's about some comparability between the sheriff's department and those assignments and that assistant director spot. And what I'm asking for is that what the pay scale that the captain's sergeant is using now, it's not this one that's on in here, it's a different pay scale. They're not using that pay scale. So it's that we just put the assistant director in that same pay scale. And I actually have that spelled out. What those. This shows the current pay scale. And that shows which is actually that is the pay scale that the sheriff's department uses.
What step is this at?
Where's our assistant director right now? 8. Bob, he's at 8. Yeah. Beginning May, he went to step 8.
So, I can't remember, but the sheriff's pay is set by resolution, correct? And I can't remember, are they on a percentage of it or not?
Yes, 75%.
No, that's assistant director, the deputy director.
Chief deputy, yeah.
Yeah, it's 92%.
92%.
That's not a set percentage by any means, it's just what they use.
Yeah.
But we said it at the board, I remember Dick Harlan voted on it.
Well, because we looked at that according to everybody else's assistant, or chief deputy or whatever.
But I
And so, I mean, that's what I'm using this for, I'm not answering phone calls. I was using it as a calculator to figure out, would we be better off to just do that, just set it at a percentage of the director's salary, period.
Well, but I'd like to look at Sarpy and Douglas County and see how many inmates they have and look at that wage scale before we start getting out of kilter.
The only problem I'd have with that, Pam, is if Todd retires after all of his experience, if we end up hiring somebody in the next 10 years when Todd retires.
10
I'm
years.
guessing they probably won't be at the same pay scale for not having the experience, so I don't think you're gonna rehire at the same rate. So that percentage scale is gonna get you off kilter for
Good point,
replacements.
because elected officials are different, they get their top dollar the day they walk in, no matter experience.
Right.
A good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Elected officials, they're there for 4 years. If they're not, then
That's a good
usually
point.
the chief deputy goes with the,
Did
chief
you,
deputy goes with like the sheriff.
because I think we had Kim look this up one time on jail's wages or something.
Well,
It
he
came
has
out
too, just in a
through
different line.
NACO or something, and I think per inmates and per what we had for facilities, and if the sheriff ran the jail.
Right,
or-
that's a big part of it too, because,
Yeah.
if a sheriff's running a jail, even that jail administrator's salary is, gonna
Right,
be.
but I just don't want to get us out of kilter when we're trying to do a salary study and we're budgeting for a salary study.
Basically, you're setting his salary at 80% of yours, which
Yeah.
is a little higher than what,
Yeah, I would rather wait and see what the salary study comes out on that.
Well, it doesn't mean there shouldn't be some kind of an increase.
Well,
Just
he'll
shouldn't
get
might
the,
be to
he'll
that.
get the 3%, and then didn't they get the 6% or
he
whatever?
gets a step.
He gets a step, okay.
He's not, he's, the figure you're using, though, he's not a step 8. Unless you don't calculate 2,080 hours. How many hours do you calculate you work 40 hours a pay period? 40.
Well, yeah,
80 hours
it's,
a pay
yeah,
period.
it's salary, but yeah.
Salary. Yeah, I mean, if he's a step 8 right now,
Ron, it's probably because he'll go to step 9 in May.
Yeah.
yeah, but that, step 8 is more than what he's talking about. Step,
Not what's on the paper, not what's on the paper.
step 8 for his current rates is 121 something.
Yeah.
70.
Yeah, and then, so then at the small, I haven't didn't do the exact math, but then I would guess the step 9 is what gets into the 122, 360, 360.
So
Yeah,
on the budget as
but he's not,
presented,
that's the current rate, not the proposed rate.
Right.
Oh, so
There'd
you're
be a
saying
change.
the COLA hasn't been put in?
No, I'm saying it's,
Their proposal of changing anything would have a budget impact.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and if the budget impact of that, of this change, if we did this way, kept him at step 8, and that, it would be $4,241.20.
but what I'm saying though, Todd, is the number you have in here, a step 8 is, step 8 on his old system is a 121 something, if I'm calculating it right.
Yeah, I also get the 121.
Yep.
I guess I took it as he hasn't put this in his budget, is how I took it.
Well, he's got it in here as a request at 122, 363.
And he'd have 2
Well,
months.
I got you. That, you know what happened on that?
That's your 121, Ron, and then there's 2
2 months at a higher
He'll
step.
go up a
Right.
step. He'll go up a step.
He's currently a step 8, and that would be, okay.
You'll go to,
So
you'll go to a step
$600
9.
difference, which
10
would be a
months.
$300 a month increase.
But if
to
he's
the
at
last
step
month.
8, his current plan will get him to where Todd wants him to be without. Are you requesting to increase what you show on the budget?
Right.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
right. Initially, it was on there, when it got redone, I realized it got put in right at 6%,
So
that's
it's the
what it is.
122, 363 is on his current plan.
Yes, and he's requesting.
And
that
I'm
he moves them up.
requesting actually, and I actually got that, I can give you this real quick. This is just basically the payroll number that shows what he's making now.
But what is, and you're trying to make it equal to the captain's position, is that what you're trying to do?
Gives you the payroll number. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay, that was my, turned out mine. Okay.
This just uses that payroll spreadsheet numbers to show where I was at and where I wanted to be. And that, yeah, the, shows you what the, and this is this $4,241.20, that's increased from what we're doing now with that cost of living that was given at 6%.
So you're requesting an additional $4,241.20 in his salary line item?
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's,
No, but it
Right.
actual was it was 111, almost 119.
that's what he's requesting.
He wasn't, that job wasn't full for the full year. That's what it is.
Mr. Jones, when did you take your current position?
May of '25.
And if you want to consider experience, he's had experience in law enforcement for a very long time, so.
I'm not discrediting.
Okay.
I just don't want to get us off kilter on our scales.
Yeah. Well, and, right now, I think that we're kind of off kilter because we've got basically a division manager getting paid two pay scales above what, assistant directors getting paid, and that's my concern, because I don't think that was ever the intent of the board when they put those steps together to start with.
Well, in the sheriff's department, the reason that was changed was we had to keep the distance between captains and deputies.
Just asking to do the same thing.
Yeah. And I looked at that when you and I talked about those, looking at that gap between them, and what you did with that 6% pretty much did the same thing, maybe just a touch more, but it was that assistant directors is, I think, just a little out of whack. So, and you got to realize too that I'm assuming that if I go, I talked a little bit about putting together a pay scale for that, so that when you do that hiring for the next person, that person will fit into a pay scale where they're going to be compared to where he's at.
It's just hard for me to imagine, for instance, that if we ever have to replace your position, that person would start at the level that you're at now.
No,
Because
absolutely.
They wouldn't have the experience.
I agree with that.
Hopefully,
Some of us have the same amount of experience.
potentially, well, hopefully,
Availability to improve them.
we'll be able to have someone. We were very, very fortunate when it turned out that Todd was our director, because you had so much law enforcement experience, but you had also been in corrections.
There was some
years
deals,
prior.
yeah.
And he came with a master's in finance. So,
Management.
when we won the lottery, is what we did. So it all worked, but I would hope that, again, we have somebody move into the position, and we know how it works. Everybody has a right to a retirement, everybody has a right to play with their grandkids. It is what it is. So, we know how that works, but we would hope that we would be fortunate enough to have the salary where it was attractive, and where we could also get law enforcement. If you don't, well, there's no sense in they're not listening, and you know how I feel. So I would just propose, does anybody have a problem with this?
It's going to be slightly a little higher than that with benefits.
I Do you
Yeah,
think-
it won't have a
Do
big
you think
impact
it's
on it.
worth having the discussion that we're gonna have with the other pay discussion that we're gonna talk about?
Well, that's up to you guys. I think it's pretty obvious myself, so.
Okay.
I'm good with it. I'm good with it, but if you guys want to talk about it more,
You got a handful of these to discuss, and I think we're gonna just take them all up at the same time.
Okay, all right,
If
all
that's
right.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that was, is there any questions about payroll stuff otherwise?
No.
All right. Hit on operating stuff, I can just hit the high points. Utilities have been way over, I shouldn't say way over, a good 10% over the last 3 years, so that's why I just added that 10% onto that one. Garbage, there's a little bit of a surcharge, I bumped that up $1,000. Building repair and general repair, I added a little bit to those. But I want you to keep in mind something is, I'm still hoping to rely on that building reserve money when it comes to those issues. To be honest with you, if I had to budget adequately for what's coming in this, in this facility, I'd probably be asking for $50,000 in building repair and $100 and a quarter in general mechanical repair. I'm really counting on maintaining that building reserve fund there to do that, because when we get to that point, I'll share with you some of my concerns with the building, so you understand what we need to be looking at over the next 3 to 5 years in that building. So yeah, I just bumped those up just a touch. Training contracts, we signed those contracts just recently. There's a little bit of an increase there. Food, there was a 5% increase on meals and some costs of the religious meals. Those things went up 5%. However, when I budgeted it last year, we estimated the average daily population, and it turned out we've been quite a bit lower than that. So the math I've done, if we keep kind of where we're at, and actually I think I actually, compared to what we are today, it even had a little higher than that. I'm not sure how that's going to hold, but we can do it without having to change that line item at all. That's what I'm trying to say.
What number is that?
1901, 2-1901. 660,000, so I don't change. I can do that without any change. Medical prisoners, here's that line item is what I use for the provider, which we signed that contract for. That's for the provider and for malpractice insurance. That's the Dr. Vanderfect and his PA, Lisa Deegan. Just a little bit increase on printing and supplies, just because stuff is more expensive. Continuing education costs, that's money that's mainly a computer program that we do online training or computer training on most of the stuff that we have to do for corrections officers to keep them certified. It's just, it goes up a little bit every year, and I think we added a couple of, we actually added in our nurses too, because it's something that they can use as well. So, and then just basic training stuff is the stuff costs more. Medical and hospital services, that is, I just bumped it up trying to keep up where those costs are going. I mean, that stuff's going up, and if I don't keep a little ahead of it, and there used to be, before COVID, it was like you could, like clockwork, it would be a high one year and it'd be low the next year and high, and it's just seems like it's slowly going up. It's a whole different animal, and but it's hard to really predict. Dental is something that has been going up, and it's been above what we've budgeted every year, so I bumped that up to meet what it's costing us. Mental health services, we signed a new contract there, but we're able to do it within the same line item. We don't have to make any changes. So operating expenses, just because a number of these things was a pretty decent increase, 73,000. Supplies, the only supplies, I don't know if you remember last year, we were way over on uniforms. That's settled down a little bit. It's really all about cost of the uniforms is part of it, but it's also turnover. We reuse that stuff the best we can, but a lot of it's been used enough that we can't get any use out of it. So I just bumped it up 10,000, and so that's all I'm asking for in supplies is that. What seems like a lot, but it's only 140,000 in that fund. And then the capital outlay, I didn't make any changes at all on that. But I do wanna take a minute to talk about something that we're looking at doing. Our body camera youth program has just been a tremendous success. I mean, it's been a really good thing for us to cut down on the complaints, the inmate complaints, and plus allow us to investigate those complaints, which we usually find that there's nothing to them, and sometimes we find there is something to them, but we find the truth in a lot of cases. We have inquired with the Reynolds Foundation about getting some funding to up the numbers we have, and they're very receptive to it. So we're looking at putting together a proposal for that, and I'll bring that to you as time comes on. So if we're able to do that, we could double the amount of cameras we have, so we can make it so that we can get more of them in the facility. And so if that works, then we got to have a mechanism to pay it. So either set a line item in here like we do on the vests and then we just found this out last week, just by the way, that they responded to it. So I see, if you guys are good with it, I see two ways of doing it, and I'm saying $40,000 is what, and I don't think it'll be that much, but I'll make sure that it covers. It depends on how much they'll fund. It's because we know that we have a pretty good idea that they will fund the cameras. It's whether or not some of we can do it. What do they call it?
This is basically a swap, just a refresh after 5 years. So you have your cameras for 5 years, and then at the end of that, you get new cameras.
Yeah, it's just like a
lease agreement?
Maintenance plan setup sort of thing, cost estimate.
That's put under grant funds of some sort.
Yeah.
You get the revenue and you spend it out. Plug
Yeah,
numbers,
it's all
money in,
gonna
money
be
out.
covered, yeah, we definitely budget it in and out.
Yeah, right. Well, and the other possibility, and I don't know if this is the right way to do it, so I'm just gonna throw it out there, is that we paid for that stuff out of inmate welfare, and so we bump up that, make sure that line item for extra equipment is higher in that inmate welfare, and then if it's, I don't know if this is the proper legal way to do it, but that we just deposit that check into the inmate welfare account and then spend it from there. It's just like anything else, we don't spend it unless the money's there, so just an option I'm throwing.
Put it in the grant.
It's say we have 100,000 in grants, I think if I remember the number right, so we could bump that up. Or if we put it here, I guess we could budget a miscellaneous revenue and then put it through the expense. I don't know, I guess we could put it as a capital outlay for miscellaneous.
Yeah. Just,
You know, if you put it, think about this, wherever we put it, I want it specific, not just throw in, I mean, we had this issue with Janet, yesterday or whatever. I don't want to just throw it into grants, I don't want to just throw it into a number, I want a specific line item that shows an in and an out for these cameras. Because, I mean, it's significant and it's very gracious of the Reynolds Foundation. And I think we need to have a firm tracking of that for them. I mean,
A specific line
that's a
item
big
for
deal
it, yeah.
if they would do
And
that. So, I mean, any grant's a big deal, but I want a specific line item in and a specific line item out. And I think inmate welfare lends itself well to that unless someone has an objection.
I mean, the nice thing about inmate welfare is Todd's the only person using that budget.
Yep.
As
I
opposed
agree.
to like the park issue the other day, the issue is there's more than park stuff in there.
Mhm.
So this is a budget only Todd touches.
Mhm.
Kind of prevents the issue we had.
well, and if we do add another.
That sounds great. Let's just do that.
And we do a line item that labeled body worn cameras,
Grant.
grant, right.
Right?
Body worn cameras grant.
Then, so it's just a matter of
Just-
where,
Body worn cameras grant. Yeah. Worn, W-O-R-N, there. Yeah.
but then where do we put it in?
So we can add a line item in revenue for the miscellaneous revenue, but we can title it
Good.
Body worn grants.
So,
Corrections by.
so in inmate welfare or?
Inmate welfare.
Okay,
We'll
all
add
right.
a line of revenue in it.
Okay, all right, okay.
You said the budget 40 is what?
40, yeah. Probably so. Amount actually gets spent, we'll spend how much money we got in there. I mean, just like we do with other,
But you're sure the 40 will be enough, Todd? I mean, if it's like 10,000 different, I'm sure it'll be fine. I just don't want us to budget 40 and then it's 80 or something.
well,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It'll actually, some of that would be paid over the course of years too, because
Okay,
it's like a
okay. So
yearly
not-
thing,
yeah.
so we could, yeah.
Okay.
so yeah, that actually makes that inmate welfare thing work even better if because that money goes in there and then we can spend it as we need it, yeah, so.
Perfect tracking is the deal.
Yeah, right.
See exactly in and exactly out.
So we'll keep you informed on the progress on that, so.
That's awesome. Good, that's great.
Questions on that, those budgets?
Is everyone good with the jail pages?
Yep.
You want to go on the voting? Just want to talk about what's going on with revenues, Todd.
Mhm.
You can see that, the U.S. Marshal revenue, you were way over
Mhm,
budget, and
mhm.
honestly, even over what's being budgeted for next year, and then
Yeah.
there's also ICE money again, and so where do you foresee that going in the future?
Well-
I can see a lot less budgeted than what actually came in last year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and one of, what came in last year was 13 months worth too, because we had a month from the
Okay,
last,
that's good to know.
snug. So 4 million would be real close to where it was at. And we did have, and that's why when I talked to Kim, I was recommending 3,750,000 because I don't know if you guys remember the way the U.S. Marshals did their, like early last year, that it was all of a sudden that the numbers dropped way down and we're pushing to get more and more. Those things are so unpredictable. That's my concern there. I want to be able to say $4 million, but to be honest with you, to say that's going to be consistent, I think it's a risk going much higher than what I've said. I mean, if we get more money, we get more money, but right, exactly, which,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, if we budget more and we have fewer property tax dollars to cover this and it comes short, We're taking it out of our miscellaneous, we're taking it out of our additional revenues, because we gotta pay it, and we can't let these people go. So, I think we're foolhardy to not budget on a very conservative note for the revenues.
Yeah.
And then we have not, missed the mark on property taxes.
I think that's 3.75.
If that's what he feels good about.
3.75 requires an average daily population of the paying customers at about 81, okay? 87 puts us at 4 million. My goal is to keep us above 90, We're not above 90 right now, but we
don't
were
control that
last
either.
week.
That's right.
Yeah, and we try, every time it approaches 90, I go to Sergeant Connolly and say, hey, we need more, and he asks, and sometimes he gets them, and sometimes he doesn't, so usually, we got a real good relationship with the U.S. Marshals, and they like what we do with the transports and that sort of stuff, and so they'll keep us happy best they can, but they've got other people that are kind of in the same boat, so.
Do we want to split it between U.S. Marshals and ICE, or just leave it as a single number?
Leave it. Does it matter?
I think
I didn't
it's
know if it
best.
matters at all. It's going to be revenue, and we'll know what it's from.
Right.
So we on to inmate welfare?
Okay. Other than that issue with the grant thing, I didn't make any changes in this at all.
The only change I made, Todd, was when we discussed.
Oh, right,
the
right.
transfer. I did change it to 150.
Okay,
and I think
right.
It needs to stay at 140.
Well,
I didn't know what your thoughts were on that.
it comes down to what we use that for, we buy vehicles out of that, we do the Guardians out of that, which we're at a point to where they're about ready, they're 3 years old, we're about ready to look at replacing them again. The supplies we provide for inmates, all the clothing and stuff comes up, but just to make, the way the revenue works that comes in, everything that we do from from InCartel, all the phones and the video visitation and all that sort of stuff, that gets split. 40% goes to the general fund and 60% goes into, so you guys are, that in the board's seeing, the general fund's seeing some of that money every year, and if it goes up, that money goes up. So when I was first talking to you, I didn't know about this grant we're talking about doing. If that works out, then I don't really have any problem with it. It's just that we're moving up a little bit every year. 150,000 is a big chunk of money out of what the money that goes in there. So I don't. I guess I'm okay with it. So I just
Leave
want
it
to
for
be.
this year, and then depending on the grant, we can look at it for next year.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what
All
I
right.
suggest.
Cool.
Everybody okay with that?
And if Kim and I talk about it, a couple times a year, okay, are you ready to do this now? And I think there was a year or two that we did part of it early in the year and part of it later. This last year we were in pretty good shape, so we took it all out at once. So what am I forgetting? Anything? Oh, I don't know if we're gonna talk about, building reserve.
Oh. Okay.
If you see I made a note on my, when I submitted the budget to, put, $601,440 is what's left for the HVAC system. Okay, that's what's not been paid, and it'll be coming not until August,
Yep,
October.
I think we got 600 set aside
Yeah,
for that.
okay, so that should do fine. Put in there this unbudgeted repairs. We'd had something like that in the past, and I think we need to continue doing that. One thing what I wanted to explain, I've been doing a little bit of talking to people, inventory type stuff about what we need to plan for over the next 3 to 5 years, and first of all, our video surveillance system, it seems like it was just around one that long ago we did that, but that was 6 years ago, and that stuff gets out of date. We've had one of the memory servers that we've had to replace a couple of hard drives in, and it's hard to find these hard drives because they don't make this hard drive anymore. We got to find it in somebody's inventory somewhere. And if you think about if there's some failures that can go there in the programmable controllers in there, that if that stuff starts to fail, it's such old technology, it's gonna be expensive. So I mean, it's just something that we're gonna have to prepare for, and I hate to see wait till something like that fails, because that puts us in a bad spot if that system fails. But that replacing that whole thing could easily be $250,000, maybe $500,000 to do this. I mean, to do it the way, because the cameras themselves, they're still working, but the technology is old, and you know how that stuff works. When it comes to servers and stuff like that, Brandon says they usually look at rotating out a server every 3 years or so, and we're way past that. One of them we did what do they call it, the viewing server. We replaced that a couple of years ago because we just needed to upgrade things in it, and that seems to be doing all right. But again, just something to prepare for. And it's just, I guess my suggestion is, whenever we can, pile into that building reserve on as much as we can on an annual basis. Other things, real quick. Fire suppression system, it's just getting old, the pipes are failing and things like that. I'm not saying it's something that we have to do a full replacement, but we got to have money there to repair it, because it becomes a big deal, and it's a big deal that we got to call them out today, because there's no part of that system that if a leak comes in that thing, we got to shut the whole system down, so we can't be there without the fire suppression system. And kind of along the same note, plumbing, the pipes, the pumps, the valves, the toilets and fixtures. I mean, I just had to replace a $15,000 pump on something, I can't remember what it is now, but it's these things are failing, and then just the pipes themselves. Those cast iron pipes in there that are just deteriorating away. We just got to be prepared to do it. And sometimes they're in a place that's just up to the ceiling. You can fix it. Sometimes you got to break into a wall to get to it to fix this stuff. So again, I'm not suggesting that we go in and replumb the place. I'm suggesting we have the money to deal with it as the problems come up. Security equipment like the doors and the gates and the lock mechanisms and that sort of thing. That stuff is, we have one gate that we've had problems with. We can't get anybody to work on it. I mean, there's nobody around this area that works on it. Now, my plan was, I talked a little bit at a conference about some of the people that have worked on some of the new jails like Adams County and Sarpy County. Yeah, those, kind of get some input on a vendor we can talk to. But again, I think a lot of those locks are pretty standard, but a lot of the mechanisms, they just don't use it the same way. We use an air, pneumatic system. Again, I'm not really, I'm familiar with our system, but not really what all's out there. Concrete repair, that's another thing, probably $20,000-$30,000 over the next year or so. I'm probably gonna have to do, because we got stuff, we spent some money on getting some sidewalks leveled out, because I had an employee trip on one and had to have surgery on her shoulder. So, an exterior repair, one thing we're gonna have to do this summer is gutter and roof and some repair, because then that's about $20,000 to do. Those gutters on the side there are just leaky, you know, and in the winter time you get leaking and then dripping on the sidewalk, and people slip and fall when it freezes and things like that. So we got to deal with that. And then the windows around there, they seem to be all right now, but just something to prepare for. I've been told that there's a lot of tile flooring and stuff that's what we're gonna need to be prepared for. You know, the tile in showers and stuff in the housing units that we're gonna have to work on, because it's getting in bad shape. And then appliances, you know, the kitchen appliances, laundry. We replaced a washer one time since I've been here, but the other one hasn't been replaced. We got 3 dryers that we pretty much been rebuilding, but that's at some point that we're gonna run into problems with that sort of stuff. The kitchen stuff, we replaced what is it, $40,000 dishwasher a number of years ago, but even that is getting to the point to where it's, you know, there's a lot of moving parts in that thing, and it's, I had to be looking at something like that, and that was a number of years ago, and it's probably quite a bit more expensive than now. And we got ovens, we got cook devices, we got, you know, I got a ice maker now that's going out that I'm gonna have to probably get replaced here fairly quick. So I'm not trying to say the sky is falling, but I just want you to kind of be aware that these are the things that we're gonna have to deal with over probably the next 3 to 5 years, and you're talking, yeah, easy.
That's assuming no major plumbing issues, but.
Right. I was thinking more about $1 million, $1.5 million, so, you know, it just depends on when you, and if we got to road the video system or or the security equipment, I don't even have a clue how much that would cost, so.
We do have $250,000 in the line item for building repairs for this year.
That'll get us through the year, for
I
sure.
would hope it gets us through the year.
Yeah,
but,
it certainly should.
Yeah, moving forward, I don't know if we take their balance from that building that we're talking about, moving something off of it and putting it under a line item under corrections, and even 500, but that'd be a conversation for the future with Dune to find out what realistically that 50 by 60 building is even feasible or needed or anything like that. And it'll depend on the projects you bring forth. If needed.
Well, next year you won't have the chiller won't be in there next year, so.
Look, we've pretty much got our heating and air conditioning woes taken care of, so.
Good.
All right.
But I think that's a good idea to look at, quite frankly, what Ron just mentioned, is look at what, that other line item, the
Chiller.
and maybe fill back up or add them together and fill up or something. Because that 250 that's not gonna cut it if anything big happens.
I didn't bring the numbers, but I think I spent about $140,000 out of that building reserve last year. I'm thinking, and is that was okay. But there's a couple of heat exchangers that we did. Was there at least two of them anyway. Those are $10,000 and that sort of thing, and some other work we had to do on that system. And we shouldn't have to do anymore, but yeah.
Well, we talk about it, but it's a 24/7 operation, and that's different than most.
Yeah.
Most buildings get a little relaxation or reprieve or whatever for weekends or nights or whatever. You guys can have that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So.
And we got agencies that are checking us up on us and making sure that things, it's warm enough and things like that.
And you've got a handle on what you have in the equipment improvement reserve. You've got, it looks like 45,000 for a number of properties.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
there's some minor.
And the opiate funds, you're still using those for the mental health?
How are they faring okay? We get enough in to spend out?
We,
Well, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Kim and Holly talk on a regular basis on, that. So-
Okay.
So if we start getting to the edge, we'll back off, so.
All right.
All right.
Thank you both very much.
All right, you bet, thank you.
Okay, I think the roads people are outside there.
Ah, here we go. Yeah. Roads.
Okay, we're on page 36 for roads.
Morning.
Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon.
It is
Oh.
afternoon. I thought we were cut short. It's dinner time.
Okay,
I
we,
think our first page.
36, it looks like.
No, that's it. It's this one. You can just go to revenue. There's nothing.
The revenue side.
What do you guys have?
We're on the revenue page.
I know, but the last page,
No, they want to start.
Page one.
I know, I was wondering about the adjusted. Okay,
They're not ready for that.
We did have your decimal moved.
We were wondering, I mean, we were hoping,
$20-some thousand or something.
we
We
were
would
hoping
take
for
that if
that
you
9.
want.
Yeah,
We were happy to get that back.
yeah.
okay, we've already.
We're done. Let's go.
So, Kim, I guess on the revenue side of things, just as a refresher for myself, is this revenue side a real big impact on the tax asking, or is it better to have numbers inflated to receive additional,
No.
or do you want those numbers to be closer to actual?
I mean, I would say it matters because you are making a transfer that affects property tax asking to
Okay.
support this budget, and so we want things, I mean, we want things to be, I would say just like we do in general, realistic, or
Right.
if we have to decide conservative, because if you overinflate like revenues here, for example, you're gonna, not have enough money to cover the expense of all the expense side.
Correct, that's kind of what I'm asking. I know we talked about being conservative on Todd's revenue numbers and whatnot, and just seeing how our projected budget for last year fell short about $500,000. I didn't know if moving forward, if those revenue numbers should be adjusted somewhat closer to what last year's actual was, or?
So the biggest impact, I think, there is highway allocation funds. That's where the revenue fell, for most of there's $500,000 shortage right there, right? And so, I guess
Are we missing a month or anything that
So,
came in off?
yeah, what had happened
calendar?
is if you look into account 34702, they accidentally put it in the wrong account. It's in the incentive account. And so on my end, there was a journal correction. So that was made.
okay, so that 327 basically warms up.
Yes.
Okay, so where, then, hold on, I gotta look.
But then we're still short $500,000 on the revenue for.
No.
No.
Bridge project, I don't know what was budgeted for, some kind of bridge project revenue was budgeted for 250, that, we have
That's
nothing, and there's nothing budgeted for that this year, but that's half of what the shortage was then.
Yep.
And then the other half is basically the 3.7 to the 4 million of highway allocation.
Bridge money was we got accepted for the state on the bridge fund that time.
But wherever the line item fell, your budget versus your actual, we have a shortfall.
$500,000
And,
shortfall.
yes, and so that being said, that's a concern, you're right, because then we didn't levy the same amount of tax dollars for roads that we agreed to spend. So
But
that
if
is
that
one.
money doesn't, because what I'm also looking at, guys, is like the net fund balance is up
Okay.
more than what we would normally increase the cash reserve by
Okay.
just a hair, and so that tells me that expenses must have came in lower, so, and I know some of these revenues, like highway allocation funds, and I'm guessing probably the bridge project, if that money didn't come in, we didn't spend it.
Correct.
So like that, there's gotta
Right.
be some balance here, because our cash
There's
balance
match
is
funds
still
that would
going up.
also be considered.
So they have they have the option, which is not true of the jail. So they have
Right.
the option.
If you don't get the funds, you don't spend
You
the
don't,
money.
you don't spend it. So the fact, so I was wrong there. You're not, yeah, I was
So it
wrong
probably
there.
matters what kind of revenue, but those,
Yeah.
I believe those kinds of revenues, or the bigger revenues here, are primarily tied to
Okay, okay.
some kind of expense, so if it doesn't come in, it shouldn't go out, I think, but you guys are the experts there, so, and if I'm misremembering from looking at those a long time ago, please correct me, I'm
No.
open to criticism.
That makes more, no, that makes more sense. So thank you for straightening me out. We just came off corrections where there they have to spend it. So if we don't budget correctly,
We have a shortfall.
we have a shortfall. Not true with you guys, you just can't do the project, so.
Yeah, because most of ours is already preset by the state, what we're getting,
Sorry.
allocations.
Okay.
And have we got the actual ones yet from Jody? So they can vary a little bit, but they do not vary that much.
Gotcha.
By the time they send them, they could vary a little bit, but not.
It's usually an increase.
That's what we hope.
I've never seen it decrease, but.
Okay.
Oh, they changed it.
Is there anything else that we need to discuss on the revenue side?
They changed it.
I think obviously you'll see that the transfer there from general is bigger, but that's all related to the expenses on the next page, so as we adjust expenses on the next page, that's the number that'll kind of get adjusted, so
Okay.
I think we can move on to the expenses.
Okay.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Darn it. How about,
Mm-hmm.
no
It's
two?
fixed. 202.
Okay. Resubmitted.
I guess first thing that kind of catches my eye, just looking down at your second line item, 101 there, seeing the actual versus the projected being a hair different from last year moving forward, being short about $4,800, something like that, compared to what was actually paid out for that assistant salary. And then also out of curiosity, the 1-307, you got another line item for assistant salary. I didn't know if those are separate for a reason or what we got going on there. Just
Go ahead.
and then also on the
Those are
clerical, I
riches.
saw the clerical staff,
Yeah,
their
so-
salary
Right.
was over the budgeted amount and under budgeted for moving forward. I didn't know.
So we reclassified people at the begin, or like after a month into the budget. So that one, yeah, 01, we'll just go 01 had Verba still in there as well as Rich. And so looking at the actual compared to the fund, what it's budgeted this year, it's correct and it's only Rich.
Yep.
And then if you go into the clerical, same thing that happened with myself. I was budgeted in there as clerical and it should have been down in the assistant salary. So that's kind of where the fluctuation was.
And the
And overall,
307.
your guys' actual versus budgeted last year on salaries was fine. It wasn't over, but
Yeah.
What did they? We're not down there yet. 115.
We don't have anything else on personnel.
9.
I don't see any, I'm looking for a line item for health
I
insurance.
was too.
I was also looking for that, and I'm like, what am I missing?
For which one?
Health insurance.
Isn't that gonna be in 702, if I remember correctly?
Okay.
Yeah,
Way
I
down
thought so.
farther on.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah, it's gotta be a change, but it's not just, okay, it's not just. Operating expenses, do you just wanna talk about some of the increases there? I mean, there's, I think most of them are under road equipment there towards the bottom of that first page.
Mhm. So
they-
she wants you to start talking right here.
Yes, but are
at
they,
214. She wants the Ys.
but do we have the actual? That's what I'm wondering. Let me check on that. See if
It
they-
looks like you went a little bit over in those lines last year.
Mhm. Ones
Overall
were-
budget, you still did have some space.
Yeah, because that one's,
These are updated.
yeah. One I've got, the month short, the updated one, yes. Some of those we went over, and so that's why I added on some of those. At the very end, the repairs to 14. Starting about there. Okay.
Still 40,000 over actual last year.
No.
Just under operating alone was
Oh.
about 20,000 under budget for all the operating expenses.
Yeah.
But some of the line items went over. Excuse me.
Some of those two line items went over, and so they are bumped up.
14,000, that looks from last, the 25-26 budget to the 26-27.
Equipment repair.
So I think I get why those line items were bumped. I just didn't know if some of it could come from some of the other overages. It's like overall, we're looking at an 8.5% increase, which is probably a little bit higher than I would have expected given like the inflation number that we're using. But I mean, I agree those line items probably do need a little bit of a bump. And I don't think we can probably take the full 20,000 from other lines, because that'd put us probably right on top of, we might be really tight if we do that, but I didn't know if we could take a little bit from other lines.
I was just looking at the bottom line.
And it's interesting though, looking at 2 years ago, they were at 290 and this last year was 250, let's say.
That's a fair comparison.
I don't
too.
know,
That's
like,
a good point, Scott.
Yeah.
I don't know what's fluctuating so much. I mean, when I say so much, yeah, you got a pretty large budget there, but $30,000 fluctuation, 40,000.
I mean, it's really all in those repair lines.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the repairs are kind of hard to
Yeah, they're.
plan on.
Which, give me a number.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the money that we get from the state for bridge and then asphalt. That's a set amount we get. They're talking about STP and bridge money.
On the income side,
No, on that side.
what we're spending.
They said to turn the page. Yeah, we're on this one now.
Very bottom. There's different.
We're on this now.
Just looking at your fuel line item, 3-209.
Mm-hmm.
You guys fairly confident on that yet, or
We're
just seeing where it was
Right
at
here.
last year?
Oh,
and
right here.
I don't know
209.
where things are going, but I think I
That's
saw
you,
diesel
right
at the
here.
pump this morning was 490 or something. Granted, that's road diesel, but still you take off a buck or maybe at best.
That's one of those, we try to stay pretty close.
It was a weird winter though too. We were able to keep running.
Yeah,
I mean, that makes a big difference too if we don't have
That's a good
snow.
point. We got a lot of stuff done because we didn't have a winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's why too, some of the expenses are up. We pretty much we'd push snow, a couple times,
If that.
and
Made
then
an
we kept on
appearance.
with tubes and just
Yeah.
other odds and
Going in
ends.
through January, because the
Yeah.
ground wasn't frozen.
And cleaning ditches even longer.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
And we actually spent 5,000 more than our budget, but like I said, that's
That's political.
not bad.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it fluctuates so
Right.
much.
No, you figured that pretty close.
Okay, if everyone, is there anything else under supplies and materials?
No, we're good.
And equipment runs pretty consistent, so then I feel like capital outlay is the obvious place. So for a quick perspective, what we've been doing over the last several years is increasing the cash reserve by $250,000 each year in thoughts of like that's to replace, motor graders in the future. When we were putting together this budget, we decided to keep that the same because that was the board's intent. And then obviously all the equipment requests are in here that you guys will have to review. But I just wanted to point out that even though there is a lot of equipment requests in here, we still did increase the cash reserve and decided it would be up to the board of what they did or did not cut. So that increase is in the cash reserve, even though there is a lot of equipment requests as well. And I'd probably invite you guys to discuss all the equipment.
I thought that was rejected.
Let's just go to capital outlay and go line by line if you can, Don, Kelly.
Yeah, go ahead.
First one on there'd be dump trucks.
Dump truck.
Yes. That's, I
The
said,
must.
we'd like to order another dump truck, and when we get through with all of this too, that's something I'd like to address. If we've got the dump truck, and we've got a motor grader, and the rubber track excavator. When I get through, I would like to talk on that, because we have trouble. The farthest thing out is a dump truck with a box and a plow. And so I said, definitely we need another one to keep going on our trucks. But that's something too, when we get through with all this, want to come back and address. If you guys are comfortable to us to sit down and start getting some quotes from Sourcewell now, instead of waiting till September, because if we go in September, we don't get it ordered till October, and it really pushes it to get it out every budget year. So, but, big things, like I said, dump truck, I don't know on that price. I'm guessing it's gonna be over that.
With a plow, yeah.
We put in 225,000. I think that's very, if we get one for that, I'll be very happy. I think it's gonna run a little bit over that. But, this last year, we went with the 215, so.
What's the lead time on those? You said that's the longest one out. I mean, the last one took us, 16 months to get?
I would say now they're down to 8 to 10. So, I mean, they're down there, but it's nice. That's what I'm saying. If we could get a lead on that, if we know we're gonna get one for sure, I think they'd like to get it in sooner, so they can beat the end of the year. And also, it goes over to Bradshaw, and he is just swamped, yeah. So that usually takes 3 months for them over there to get it worked into their schedule. So if we get one a little earlier than everybody else, that might help too. So that's the truck. Move on down. The other big item on there is the motor grader. Figured the 300,000.
Didn't we pay more than 300 for the last one?
We did, but we did the trade.
So 2 years
So,
ago, we sold the old one on Big Iron or auction site. We had to pay the full price. That's
and then, this last time we did the trade-in, so that helped. That's what cut that down, but I think the bid was probably 350,000.
So we already have the money put away for that, or not? Or is this another one?
I mean, so I guess that's kind of like the board's call, like, we've been budgeting for motor graders every year, at $250 a year to build up that cash, and we have never, We've definitely never reduced it. I would have to look if there was one year that we maybe
Skipped it.
froze it.
I think we froze it.
Yeah.
We didn't put any in one year.
Right. 'cause we
And
spent-
we bought the motor grader out of it
Right.
Last year, 2
two,
years ago.
2 years ago, I think. And then last year, we put it in the budget.
That's right.
Yeah, we've never, necessarily gone down, but like I know one year we purchased one that we just didn't increase the cap reserve that year, which just means how it would, would work in that year. This year, I'm just saying, I just wanted to let the board know at the beginning that we have both in there so the board can make the decision.
Where did we put the rubber tire?
From my
Excavator.
perspective, we make the
The rubber tire.
decision, you can have one or the other.
Agreed.
You can either buy your motor grader or
That's Cameron's.
put the money away for a
It was in
motor
there
grader.
somewhere.
Agreed.
I know we put it in there somewhere.
Don, you mind going back to the one above there on the trailer? Are you guys projecting to buy a $75,000 trailer this year?
That one, I would like to try to get a belly dump. That's what we're trying to squeeze in to haul gravel with, out on the roads and everything. That would be really efficient. We bought that used semi-tractor, and we use it on a long trailer to get tubes. We've used it on the side dump, but when we're not using the side dump or something, it would be nice to put it on if we could get a reasonable belly dump, or honestly, I hate to look, we could look for a used one, but most of that kind of equipment is really used. If you buy it from somewhere else, unless you just happen to come upon some place where they traded one off that's a little better, but most of the time, you can get a cheaper one from Warner, but they've pulled those things, a couple 100,000 miles. So that's what,
I know we've talked about belly dumps since, I don't know, I've gotten on the board 5-6 years ago now. And
which,
it'd be nice, but I think we put a ear tag on that one for a one.
Of course, I agree, we've gotten along without it for 29 years I've been here.
It would be nice, but
It would be,
let's see what else we got. Next one would be the excavator. Does that replace the rubber tire?
that is going, yes, that will replace the rubber tired one.
so then
Wait.
is that a sale back? I mean, is there
There'd be a
A
trade.
trade.
a trade?
And it won't bring very much.
50, 40,
I would
22.
say maybe 40. Right now, it's running good. That's the one that, it was made overseas. Like I said, they waited on the hydraulic pump for eight months. It's good, it's running. We are using a lot. Like I said, it's one we use for ditch cleaning right now. But now would be the time if you're going to, I don't know if they would take it on a trade. I would say probably, most of them would say sell it on Big Iron, or we use Purple Wave or Gavel. Gavel's usually the one we go with because they don't charge, we can set a base price on it, and you can't the other ones. So that's one of the ones. But I did look, and we talked, and I would go with a rubber track excavator rather than a rubber tired one. That's about $80,000 cheaper. And it used to be, a lot of times they would drive it to a job site, use it. Right now, when we pull out to a job site, we're gonna clean out a half mile. I mean, when we start in. So it's easier for us to just haul it there with the low boy, park, unload it and use it and then move it, rather than just drive it around. Even this rubber tired one, if we go from one end of the county to the other, we take the low boy and load it. It's easier to haul it than it is to drive it that far.
So what's the advantage then, and something different, if we've got one that's relatively new and running well?
It's not running
It's
well,
not
it's
new.
not new.
It's the rubber tired ones and
What year is
older.
that rubber tire machine?
I think it's 14. It's a 14 or a 6. No.
Maybe a 14, I
It's about
think.
10, 12 years old. It's not a brand
Okay.
new machine. It's a decent
Okay.
machine. However, being made overseas, we have issues getting parts.
With parts, it is a cat,
It
but
runs
they,
fine, but
have trouble getting parts. It's not,
It feels like a ticking time bomb, I guess. is what-
Okay.
It's gonna tick and
And
it's
while it
gonna.
runs, it might be a good opportunity to get rid of it before we get a $50,000 bill staring us in the face.
Okay.
And its value would be gone if it does break down.
Okay. So it's not running, it's not new. Okay.
yeah, it's
It is
running. It's running.
Not running
But
well.
some days it doesn't.
It runs well.
But it's got issues, it's got potential issues.
Can't get parts either.
And you can credit that to your mechanics. You guys do, very fortunate to have
Good.
mechanics we have.
That was a nice thing to
They,
say.
they keep a lot of things running.
Okay.
Skid steer, those are lease agreements. for
Lease agreements.
90,000. Radio equipment. Mowers, plan on getting a mower this year, or?
No, that is the payment on the
Oh, Tiger.
on the
Oh,
Tiger.
Shredder.
I think
Yep.
that's last one.
No, 2 more.
2 more.
Yeah, 1 more after
Yep.
this.
One more after this one. So yeah, that price is right there what our payment is.
Safety equipment. You guys foresee anything major coming up other than standard stuff? Is there room to bump that down at all, 10,000 or?
Probably move that 5.
Hmm?
We could probably move that 5 down.
Go down to 20 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff comes out of that, so the boots and all that safety,
Mm-hmm.
all the safety apparel.
The only thing I'd say is, with this, Scott, if they buy one for something less, it's gonna be left in the budget. I mean, it's kinda, I don't wanna,
Nitpick every
you
single
know,
one.
yeah, I don't. I mean,
That's fair.
either it's, I'll ask the questions whether we need it or not, then we decide up or down, not
Yep.
nitpick it for 10,000, you know. It's not gonna do us that much, not gonna make that big an impact, I don't think.
Sure.
Because, you know, like I said, if it comes in at 240 instead of 250, well, we're not gonna have them spend that 10 on something else.
Yep.
I would hope we get that back in the general or put it in their cash reserve.
Yep.
Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Okay.
I guess next big one to probably look at would be your STP dollars. I think Butch was asking about that, but I didn't quite catch what.
That's what we didn't,
Spend.
we didn't spend it, so we roll it over, and we expect to get that 168,000 again. So that's why that's what we're expecting on the revenue side too, so we can spend it.
Gotcha. Bituminous surfacing. We were just shy on getting that done, and I think that was partially because Werner's gave us a
This is,
competitive bid last year, and we couldn't add on miles.
this bituminous surfacing, the 1.2 is the
Train.
train that's gonna come in down,
Oh, yeah, we already signed that agreement.
yes,
Yep.
it's gonna come in. So that's what, we've already got it, so we know. It could vary a little bit, but that's what it came in at on their bid,
Yep.
And that doubles the miles.
10 miles.
for the 10 miles
10
down there
miles down
on,
instead of 5 for.
Mhm.
not Rainforth, but.
Rosedale.
Rosedale.
From 281 to Highway 11.
And last I heard, they're still talking August, so.
Concrete surfacing, is that Bosselman's or planning on?
That is for Bosselman's, or to add another, they talked and they'd like to add another pad or 2 on a shop we have added. But Bosselman's, that newer one, it did sink about 2 inches, so we went in with hot mix and filled one pad, one pad. But I think it's where, when they come out of the driveway, everything drains into the road. We've got curb and gutter, but the road is lower than old Bosselman's parking lot. So it comes out there, and I think that's just the weight, just slowly. So we may have to address that again. We'll see if we got hot mix filled in enough to keep the water from soaking in there, we may get by. And then the box culverts, I said we bid the 3 already. Monday, they open up the bid for the one we're splitting on Gun Barrel. And I said, it's gonna be either culverts or a twin box. And then like I said, the prices that we've got on these boxes, that's something that I definitely think we need to sit down and go out for bids on some more of the narrower boxes and use the bridge money. I said, we'll take some of the bridge money to pay for some of the boxes, because some of the boxes are quote-unquote bridges, and then we have some boxes that are less than 20 foot that would consider just a concrete box culvert.
Okay, so
Where's the bridges?
Keep going down.
let's recap.
Hmm?
Keep going down.
In here?
Yeah, they're right there.
Oh, that's right, I'm
Don't
writing
get
on the
by
last
that.
page, that's right, okay.
So I
Bridge
think the
program.
next one be highway bridge buyback program. Is that rollover funds also?
That,
Why
yes,
that number's larger?
yes.
Yep.
We should get about that same.
And the bridges, left that at the same as last year. Remind me what we got for bridges this year.
I said, we
Those
do not,
Concrete boxes,
we do not have a bridge, but that's where I
the
think,
3 concrete boxes / 4.
we're not, well, how do I say it? We're not going to go with a bridge as you think of it, but the concrete box culverts that are triples are considered bridges for federal aid and state aid. So that's where we'd like to get a few more of those. Like I said, 2 of those 3 we'll probably take out of the bridge fund and 1 of them out of the culvert fund. The one out at Rex Pieces, we'll probably take it out, and the other 2 on 13th and Shopsville, we'll take those out of the bridge fund. You-
Budget for tire grant.
The tire grant, Kelly did send in, we've applied.
No.
Oh,
We have to
sorry.
be-
We've got 2 out of 3.
We have to be approved to
We have to
apply.
get, yes,
Get that till December.
we're going to apply, we get 3. We hope we get it.
Get called in December.
And engineering fees, similar to the year before.
Your engineering fees, like I said, will probably be, they will be a little higher with going with 3 boxes. Last year, we did the bridge out on 190th. And so the engineering on that was about included in the bridge, since we went with Husker with a different bridge. And then I did the inspections and everything, so that one kept the price down. When we go in these boxes, I will be doing the inspection and everything, but you're gonna have more, where you've got multiple boxes, you're gonna have more in engineering for every box. And like I said, when we go with 2 more, it's gonna be well, at least double what it was on the other boxes, just because of the number they're gonna charge for. And I think, what did we spend on engineering?
And roughly, last year, there was what, 150,000 they wanted to put in equipment improvement reserve, but we told them to put that in the budget based on the audit committee, is that right?
Correct.
That was for the rubber tire.
Yeah, that was for a lot of things, yeah.
Yeah.
The rollover for buyback and STP and all those things.
Which is what's driving the cash balance up in this fund. This is a fund we can do that because they quote unquote keep their cash. It's not like the other funds where things are kind of muddled up in general, so.
So we're saying 1 motor grader,
Dump truck.
dump truck,
And a rubber tire,
And a rubber
a
tire.
rubber track.
Rubber
And
track.
Track.
Rubber track excavator to
Excavator.
replace the rubber tire.
skip the trailer. Okay, so skip the motor
That would be-
grader and the, 1 motor grader, we had 2.
No.
Well, we had 1 put into cash reserve intended for a motor grader, so we can have the 250 one place or the other.
Correct.
Okay, and then We're gonna do without the trailer, but we're gonna take the excavator and we're going to do the, dump truck. And one motor grader. Okay, just so we're, that's good. I mean,
So
I'll-
just to be clear, we're gonna lower the cash reserve?
One or the other.
Back down to the.
Keep the motor grader in the budget
Okay.
instead of the cash reserve. Yep, I think so.
Okay, and then what was the other item?
and cut the trailer.
I think from where we're at now, the belly dump would be nice, but I think to get the other larger items, I think that 70,000 we can.
75.
Or
75.
The belly dump, we could probably mark that down. I don't know if there's gonna be any other trailer needs out there, but
Depends a little bit how big your belly is.
it's fun. Something said.
Good, good point, Ron, you know, we're adding, we're not being skinny with this. I mean, we're still adding in, you know, motor grader, excavator,
We're
dump
upgrading some
truck.
dated
It's a
equipment.
need.
I would encourage anybody and everybody to take a quick tour of our dump trucks.
Yep.
We have some
Didn't
that
argue.
are,
Just saying.
they're,
Military.
yeah.
So basically,
Basically, the only thing would be the 75,000 for the trailer out.
plus the 250 out of the
And the
cash
250
reserve.
out of-
Yep,
yeah.
plus 250 out of cash reserve. Yep.
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 Okay,
But we're increasing the this or this or that, right? You're good. I said, but we're doing good things. We're buying a dump truck.
I feel like you want to walk.
No, I said, we're getting really what, the dump truck's what you need. You need to keep going with the motor graders. And it's nice to add another machine in. We've got a lot of machines. But if you keep
Next thing
adding
on the
one,
list is gonna be a payloader. I mean, there's
Yeah.
all these things that are just.
Yeah, there's
not gonna be
always-
forever.
Aging out.
Can I ask about the health insurance transfer budgeted? What do you guys have
Yeah,
for, like, how much of that is actual and how much of that is estimated? I
what
just see
page
last-
are you on there?
It's right under the page 14.
They're talking right here.
Line 7-0203.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
got
yeah.
it.
Insurance fund, there it is.
That comes from the employee, projected employee, and like a new hire.
Did any of those change by chance? or-
I think,
So it went down from 2 years ago to this last year went down, and I can still see we're budgeting a higher amount, and I don't know how full you guys are. I think you guys normally stay pretty fully hired. So I
We're
would think there
not.
would be a lot of,
No.
you're not? How many
No.
open positions do you have?
we're down two
Two.
right now.
and I
we'll
always
be-
budget family in
and
there
we'll
just
be
because I
down-
you don't know.
Yeah.
you
And we'll
know.
be down one more in
Very
the next
soon.
week.
So 3.
And going through the winter this year,
There's quite a bit of transition there.
well,
Yeah.
going through the winter instead of replacing people, we didn't have a lot of snow. That's where, I'll be very honest, when we get snows, you need everybody in running the trucks, machines and everything. This winter, we got by, we're down a couple. We didn't have snow. They're working and really, I really felt it wasn't time to hire somebody during the winter if we can keep everything going with what we had. So we are down, and then we did have someone turn in their retirement papers for the end of next week.
So can we take a little bit of money out of that?
Well, so for clarification, what happens to this insurance money if it isn't spent on insurance? I don't think it can go in their
It
cash
just
reserve.
stays, well, it just stays in here, because if it doesn't get transferred, it stays in the road fund.
Or we transferred it in for health insurance. You can't do that in any other budget. I don't think you can do that.
Well, it doesn't,
Would
it
you
doesn't,
be able
it
to-
doesn't go into the
It
cash reserve.
just rolls
doesn't
over.
roll over.
But the
It just
actual-
rolls over into
The
the,
actual transfer was.
Yeah,
into the
it
insurance-
doesn't go in the cash
Yeah.
reserve, but it
Okay.
does roll over to next year's.
to the insurance fund.
The transfer was only the amount they used.
Correct, yes, then
Okay,
when
okay.
they.
We
That's
budgeted,
what
but
I-
we only transferred so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I need
This
to know.
transfer is
Yeah.
different, that, so when we're transferring from other funds, like for example, inmate welfare, we're deciding inmate welfare is going to support, general $550,000, and generally Todd and Kim make sure that happens, unless something catastrophic happens in inmate welfare. This is different, because this money's getting transferred to the insurance fund for actual expenses, so if they don't have the expenses, it doesn't get transferred. This is only based on what actually happens with employee.
So there's no reason to cut it then?
No, So, yeah, and so my concern is this, you guys, I mean, it's not about roads, it's about anybody. Years and years ago, when we started this, we would transfer it, anything that was left, but we had to transfer it into the insurance. We built up that insurance fund years and years
Okay,
ago.
yeah.
And then because those funds were meant for insurance, we could not, when we had a large amount, we had to put it back into insurance. You cannot use it for some other purpose. So I was just double checking.
Yeah.
Make sure we were.
And there was only the amount
It still does
transferred.
reduce the property tax transfer in, because the property tax transfer in is supporting that. So if their health insurance is over budgeted, it does have a levy impact, just like it would in any other.
Because you're gonna levy for those dollars even if they stay
Yes.
in the insurance pool.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So would it make sense to go down to at least 700,000
Well,
on it?
yeah, then it would. I was not fully
Yeah,
understanding
there is a
how that
levy
worked.
impact to that transfer.
Yeah, then there is, so, okay.
So-
Is it worth cutting 65 out of it and making it 700 again, or?
Well, I think it is.
Yeah, I think we could do 65.
Yeah.
And that'd basically
65,009?
be, it'd basically be two family positions, which they're saying they have two positions open.
Soon
They
to
said
be
they definitely
three,
came in
soon
way
to be
under that
three,
last year.
yeah.
Sounds like that's a turnover
Yep.
factor, which seems like it's probably pretty normal that time of year to have that turnover.
I would anticipate
They have a
probably more people
60-day waiting
retiring.
list,
It's
or
just
60-day
that-
waiting period.
You know, just kind of the
Don't have them
department,
hired.
you know?
So
No.
that'll give you at least 3 months at minimum, even if you get them hired in the next 30 days. That'd give you at least, that would be 6 months right there of one,
Two people,
and 2 people. So,
and you're gonna have a third one that's
So we're-
leaving,
we're-
so.
we're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think
Did
that's
you
the,
follow that at all?
Mhm.
Maybe, sorta? Yeah, it'd be fine.
yeah.
So 65 even, is that what you?
So
Yeah,
that's-
65,009, just do it to 700,000 even.
Yeah.
If we do 65 even is even on our side.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
I just wanna make sure we're doing whatever we.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
Let's
right.
make it as easy on you as possible. You guys are doing the heavy lifting.
That's right. No,
All right.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you're cutting, okay, thank you.
Okay, and then building and land, we've got 2 items, it looks like, roof repair and highway projects, and
Highway
those,
department project.
yeah.
I think we
Perfect.
kind of plug these numbers.
Yeah, and I think those, I don't see any adjustment on those.
Those are separate from what we
Would that
send
possibly be
to
the-
Dune.
Would that be something that concrete maybe around the shop you're talking about for pads, maybe on the highway department projects?
What did we all submit there? We did new floors in the office. What was some of the other things that Rich wanted? I don't remember.
He wanted the carpets, that's what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of things that were submitted, but I can't
And-
remember. A
and
couple
yeah,
doors.
I don't know what,
I don't remember.
when we talked with Dune, we kept in ours, separate.
Okay.
I think he kind of picks and chooses from what the list we submit anyways.
Okay.
We did what isn't building fund, that we work with him.
I guess I don't have anything else this time, you guys got much?
Nope. All right.
Thank
Oh,
you
that was
guys.
easy.
Yeah. That
I
was
didn't
easy.
bring a pencil to erase stuff, I thought I brought an ink pen to add.
I didn't need it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wishful thinking helps. Thank you. The 75 and 65, I got those.
And,
50 out of the reserve fund.
yeah.
250 out of reserve. Okay.
Put it in the budget.
Thank you.
Okay, do we want to try and review the rest of those items that we haven't reviewed on page 1, on the first day?
I'm open to whatever the board wants to do, but I know people also wanted to talk maybe about some stuff.
We have an executive session.
Yeah. Well, do we want to do this first, or do we?
Monday, we've done a lot of Monday's agenda already.
So why don't we just postpone this till Monday?
You have time.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Our voting is
I'd make a
open to
motion
go
to go
out.
out of closed session.
Okay.
Is there a second? Second, okay.
vote, oh, there you go.
Oh, I didn't know, she didn't say open vid.
Yeah, it's open, yeah, it's okay.
She did, yeah,
Yes.
okay. I didn't know it was open yet.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I didn't say it loud enough then. Okay, 7 yes votes, motion carried.
Okay, coming out of closed session, we have not discussed any subject other than the purpose of the closed session. No votes were taken, no action was taken. I don't think we have any action to take out of closed session. Is there anything else that we wanted, I think we can handle the
I think we can be
rest
done with
items on
tonight. Yep.
Monday.
Yep, Monday.
We are adjourned.
Thank you. Thanks for hanging in here.